What do you want? I'm in the middle of a podcast. Leave me alone.
This guy who really is, I think, a bad guy. Russell, I think you are a bad guy.
I'm not going to sit here and tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you what the truth.
I don't want him knowing where I live.
You can hate Russell, but one thing you cannot take from Russell is his ability to play that game.
I ain't finished playing just yet.
Welcome to the Russell Hantz Show. We have one of the most popular to play Ghost Island, Dom, here with us today. Welcome to the show, Dom.
What's up, Russell? Great to be here, man. I feel like I have like these weird chills going down my back speaking to you. It's like It doesn't matter that I played the game recently.
How do you explain that to me? Because I want to, like, someone that played the game. I know already. I get it when someone, and I don't want to sound too conceited. I am who I am. It is what it is. When I meet someone like in a grocery store or something, I get it. If they're fans of the show, it's like, oh my God, it's Russell Hantz, and they want to take pictures and kiss their kids and all that stuff. But you've played, not only did you play the show, you went very far. You came second place. We do have something in common. So you came second place, and now you're saying that it's exciting to hear from me?
Well,
Why is that?
What it is, it's not like...
I'm just curious.
Yeah, well, I'm not easily starstruck. If I meet a celebrity, I'm not like, oh my God, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. But I think it's different with Survivor past players, because for me, it's like, it's something I've loved for 15, 20 years of my life.
Okay. I
really appreciate anyone that's played it. And yeah, I think before I played it, it was a different, like a gaga type of thing. Like if I, talking to you now, I'm not like sweating and overwhelmed.
Right. No, I get it. Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's an appreciation to say, holy shit, I'm talking to Russell Hantz right now. This is legit. Like,
right. Like for instance, I love baseball, and one of my favorite is Jeff Bagwell. So, but if I met him, it'd be like, hey man, what's up? Because I met superstars before, but I think before I played the show, I would have been a little bit more overwhelmed. But since I played, I don't know if that makes any sense.
It does, because you've seen the other side of, even if it's not real fame like a ball player,
right.
You've still seen that small touch of fame where you'll walk into a store and even though it's not 1,000 people running up to you like you're Brad Pitt, it still could be a small group of people like, oh my God, you are the guy from Survivor, and I got to get a picture. My mom's going to go nuts. And even me, I've tasted that as well, and I haven't played nearly as much as you have played. So I get that, you know what I mean? But there's always an appreciation. Anyone that's played the game, or even if you haven't played the game and you're a fan of the game, if you meet a Survivor contestant, regardless of how well they may have done, I mean, that's still a big moment for that person, I think. For me, I mean, I've met a lot over the past year.
You know what? I think it really doesn't matter how. If you're a huge Survivor fan and you see the first, let's say you're a huge Survivor fan, and I'm just going to go back to season 19, and you see the Marissa walking by. It's like, whoa, that's Marissa from season 19 Survivor Samoa. I think that it's kind of exciting in that it doesn't matter how well you did. I mean, yeah, it does in a sense when it comes to the depth of the show and all that. But when you're
because there are Survivor players and there's Survivor legends, right? You know what I mean? I mean, you're a legend, regardless of what anyone wants to say. You're a legend. You played this game. Hard as hell.
I'm gonna just go ahead and say if someone says that I went there to be a legend. I did what I did to be one of the greatest survivors in TV history. When I was doing my interviews, I told them straight up, I told Lynn and Jeff, I said, I'm going to change the game forever. And I said, not only am I going to change the game, I'm going to change the way people view the game forever. And they told me, no, you won't. Everybody tells us that, Russell. Everybody. So I did exactly what I said I was going to do. Now, if someone wants to say I'm not a legend, then they're not a true Survivor fan. They just, I guess I don't supposed to say yes, I'm a legend. I guess it's not. What would you say? It's not proper for me myself to say yes.
You're not supposed to self-proclaim
I don't
yourself. You're supposed to let other people
do that, but I speak.
You have to.
I've always spoke the truth. How I feel in the game, how I feel about the winners in the game. When someone won and I didn't agree with it, I didn't sit there saying, "Hey, oh, yes, it's good for her. She won the game." I gave Natalie credit. The credit I gave Natalie is aligning with me and not switching. She never switched.
I know.
She never. She could have easily. It was 4-8 at the merge. She could have easily flipped, but she was strong enough to stay with what we had. So I gave her credit for that. But what else? What else was there?
Let me jump in here for a second, because as you telling me this, I just got done watching your season 19 final tribal, and then I watched your season 20 final tribal, and I just love that you bring in all this, what you did with Natalie and what you did with Parvati.
I never bring that back, too. It's
it's so good, because I just watched you just sit there and say, "I am the greatest. I am the greatest. I am the greatest."
I mean, some of the greatest people in sports history, some of the very greatest. Muhammad Ali. They say it. Those are the ones that are the cocky ones that people don't like at first, but then they become the ones that people start loving.
I'm going to pause you for a second, and I'm going to tell you the difference between you and Muhammad Ali.
Okay. Well, there's obviously tons
I see your similarity. And just so you know, this podcast, we're not going to agree on a lot of things.
That's fine.
Or we may not. I don't know. We may or may not. But at the end of the day, I'm a man. I could take it if you want to dish it back to me.
I want to hear what your opinion too. I don't.
Well, what I want to say is, I'm going to give it to you.
Where everybody agrees. That's for damn.
No, hell no. That ain't me, and you'll learn that quick.
Right.
The difference between what you're saying about Muhammad Ali is right. Like, you're right. There was a point where he was like, "I'm the greatest, and I'll kill anyone that comes in the ring with me." Yes, that's true.
Right? When he said it, everybody hated him.
I don't know that they hated him. I think he had this likability about him that it's. I mean, for me, any interview I've ever.
Muhammad Ali, I've always viewed and thought that people hated the guy, and then later on, in when time passed, they was like, okay, he is the greatest.
I think it also has to do with someone that goes on such a long streak of winning something.
Right.
Like even with Tyson, right? Tyson's not Muhammad Ali. He's not that likable, but no matter how much you might not have liked Tyson, you just you had to watch every fight he was in, and you wanted to watch him knock someone out in a minute and a half. Like, you had to see it. You know what I mean? So I think Muhammad Ali had that streak of winning.
Well, how old are you?
I'm 40 in
okay,
hold on, wait. I'm 40 in 5 days. On Halloween, I'm 40.
Well, happy birthday.
Thanks, sir.
But so do you remember the times of, and I know we're getting off Survivor a little bit, but I got to say this because I'm friends with George Foreman's son, one of the Georges. And you remember the time when those days of boxing were just unbelievable, just the thing to do when boxing came around.
Well, I will say I'm probably a little too young for the Foreman-Ali fight, but the early Tyson...
The Holyfield fights.
The Tyson Holyfield, I remember the ear biting.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
All the early Tyson fights, I was mesmerized.
The early Tyson fights, the later Holyfield fights with when Foreman
Lennox
came back.
Lewis,
even
Lennox Lewis.
He was a little bit later, but those fights were crazy. But anyway, back to.
But the point is that we're talking about how you can be likable or you can not be likable. But the point is, if you continue winning, people are still intrigued by you. Okay. Now, where I say you're different from Muhammad Ali and where he's claiming that he's the greatest and no one's going to beat me, versus when you say it, I think you.
Because I never won.
Not because you've never won, Russell. It's not. I don't think that's it. And I suffered the same thing that you do.
Oh no, I hear you. That's what we're going to get into that a little later. Yeah.
It's that I don't think we hold that likability factor like Muhammad Ali does. So I can't, and I know that I don't. See, I think that's
Right.
that might be the difference between you and me. I know I don't have it, so
because I don't
I
know.
won't sell.
I know, dude. I know that people
Okay.
hate me. I get it.
Well,
And
hate is a strong word.
but listen. I was also fan favorite 2 seasons in a row. Explain that.
It's the same thing as Tyson, though, Russell. Like, they have to watch what you're going to do next.
Right. Yeah, but you don't have
And
to
that's
vote.
fine. Who
You have
gives
to
a shit if they
call
like
in.
you or not?
You don't have to call in and vote for me.
But this is not that show.
I mean,
We're not playing American Idol,
No,
brother.
what I'm saying is I won fan favorite because people called in and voted for me. You don't call in and vote for someone to win fan favorite if you don't like them.
No one said they wanted you to win. They just said they wanted you on the season.
Right. So you think that some people that voted for me didn't even like me?
It's not that they liked you or didn't. You were great television.
Yeah,
They
I get
wanted
that.
They wanted you to mix the game up. They even may have, and I'm not saying it me. I thought, listen, I took a lot of what you did into my own game. So I'm not sitting here telling you that what you did was wrong or whatever. I mean, I have my critique on you, and we can get into that later.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, if a person voted for you as a fan favorite, it doesn't necessarily mean that they thought you deserved the win. It's that they know you're going to make a great season.
I don't know about that.
Am I allowed to curse on this podcast?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Right.
I don't know if that's accurate. I think
so you're saying
if someone's sitting at home with their family and they pick up the phone and dial in a number, I think it's because they wanted me to win the show. I don't think it's because, hey, we're not talking about producers here that's sitting at home.
So
with
let
their
me ask you a
family.
question. How far was fan favorite season after 20, after Heroes Villains?
What do you mean?
2 or 3 seasons later?
No, I'm talking about season 19. I won fan favorite.
You won fan. I'm sorry.
You see, we used to have.
You're talking about right. Okay, yeah, I don't know about that because we don't have those polls
of the
anymore.
season.
Yeah.
So season 19 and 20, back in the day. I don't know why they don't do it no more. I think because of sponsors or whatever. But back in the day, they used to do. And if I ever play again in the U.S. version, I would hate to think that I would play without them actually having someone to sponsor the show for a fan favorite season, because I've never played without that. So
okay, so I was confused because I thought they did it with a vote where Second Chance season came out, right? That was a vote. Yeah,
I'm not sure when they stopped the fan favorite thing.
Okay, so you're talking about after the show, the season.
After it was all over. Yes. After
the season aired, they did a poll, they took a vote, and you were fan favorite 2 seasons in a row.
Yeah. So my point is, if I was fan favorite by the public, not producers, by the public that's watching, then a lot of people tell me, like, especially previous survivors, and if you go online, you'll see how hated Russell is. Now, why am I so hated by those people and some survivors, some actual survivors? Those people, survivors, the people that dig deep into it. I'm hated by them, but I'm loved by the people that actually watch the show.
Okay, so you're talking about the diehards who are probably 1% of the viewers.
Yes.
Of the 9 million people that watch every week, the 1% on social media shit all over you.
This is going way where I didn't.
Okay, well,
this
whatever.
This is going
way
different than I thought the podcast would go, but
don't worry, man. We're here. We're going to get dirty.
We're here.
Don't worry.
We're here.
No, we're here. So listen, so you're saying that the diehards, and I know who the diehards are. They're in my life too now, so I know.
You. Yes.
You know what I mean?
1%.
And then, but I'd say
less than 1%ers.
Yeah, okay, so 99.5% of the people who casually watch the show believe that you're a fan favorite. Now, you say fan favorite. Does that mean because you're a fan favorite, that means they wanted you to win?
Yeah, I would think that's up to, interpretation.
I would say some of those. I would say that
the people, because Shambo, I was against Shambo. If you remember Shambo, she was extremely popular.
Absolutely.
So she was more of the one you would want as a fan favorite. But
Right.
mine was player of the game. I think the name changed to player of the game.
And that makes
So-
sense.
So
And that makes sense.
So
but
they
let
wanted
me
me.
jump in
The
here, though.
public
Let me jump
wanted
in,
me to
because
win. Go ahead.
Yeah, but you're saying player of the game.
Yes.
So you can't confuse player of the game with person they want to win, because player of the game means that you did the most. You had the most activity. You made the most moves. You cut the most deals. You cut the most throats. And you had the most activity out of any other player. There's no question you're the player of the game for the season.
Right.
But that doesn't necessarily mean they want to hand you the million. So that's what I'm
No,
saying.
I don't
And
agree with that, man. I don't agree with that. They had so many. Listen.
And I'm not
back in the
saying
day-
all of them feel
look,
that way.
back in
Some
the
of them
day-
may have wanted you to win.
Season 19, back in the day, I would do promotions, and they would pay me. They had casinos that would pay me $10,000 to go there and
Look at
stay in their casino for 2 days and sign
time.
autographs. Now, listen, I'm not exaggerating. I have pictures. I could prove it. I had thousands of people waiting in line out the casino to get my autograph. Now every
Yeah,
I'm not going to
yeah,
say
I don't
every
have
single
th-
one.
I don't have those offers, by the way. But go
Yeah,
ahead.
well, I'm not going to say every single one, but I'm going to say 80% of them. The number one thing they told me is, "You should have won."
Okay. I get this. I get that
Wait, do you
comment
not?
a lot
Wait,
also.
do you don't think I should have won season 19? We're going to talk about your season, trust me. But do you think I should have won season 19?
This is a very sensitive topic
careful.
between
Be careful, man.
you and I. No.
No.
See,
It's
listen,
you have to be. If you're a real Survivor fan and you know the show,
Russell.
then I need to hear why the person should have won, Natalie White. You explain to me what she did. If that's the case, do you think she should have beat me?
I believe.
I mean,
Listen to me.
you got a lot to discuss.
I'm gonna give it to you. Listen to me.
Give it
You're
to me.
talking to a person who hears on a daily basis
You
that
should've won.
I should have won my season, and I'm telling you that Wendell earned his win.
Okay,
And-
I'm telling you that Natalie White did
not earn hers.
Earn her win. Now,
Okay.
I get it. I get that. That's. I wish that I
Okay.
could tell you. Look, this might shock some people, but I wish I could tell you that Natalie White earned her win. I really do. But the
Right.
fact of the matter is, she did not.
Okay. Let me tighten what we're talking about here. So it's not necessarily that Natalie White earned the win. The problem is that you didn't recognize certain aspects of the game
Okay.
that allowed you to secure the win.
Right. Now,
Okay?
I'm okay.
So
with
I'm
that.
not going to say Natalie played a better game than you, but you dropped the ball and handed it to her.
Okay, the point with all that is where did I drop the ball? This is what I wanted to talk to you about today. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about bitter juries. Now, when it comes to bitter juries, is that because of human error and who we are as people? Like the people that can't get over certain things?
Let me ask you a question real quick before you move with that statement. When you say people can't get over certain things, do you mean in the game of Survivor or in
No,
life?
in life.
In
Because
life, okay.
because if someone slaps you in the face in the game of Survivor, if someone stabs you in the back in Survivor terms, someone stabs you in the back, and then at the end of the day, you vote for that person, then you are one strong individual. Now, if someone stabs you in the back and you know that they did the best, and you don't vote for them just because you got your feelings hurt, then you're a weak individual, and you know what? The game is over already. So not only you're a weak individual right there in the game of Survivor, you're a weak individual in life because that's who you are. That's what you just did.
But what you're not seeing, Russell, is
Is that not? But is that not right? Is that not?
But
Do you not understand that statement?
No. I hear exactly what you're saying.
Okay.
But what you're not recognizing is that they cast the show to have individuals who may not be secure in their life.
Right.
And it's up to you to deal with that.
You see, that's the part.
And if you can't, navigate your way through the game, knowing that these people have personal issues outside of the game,
right? You're right. I have understood that.
Don't tell me that there's not someone on your season that may have looked at you as someone that you reminded them of someone in their past, possibly
someone that bullied them.
Absolutely.
No, yes.
Let me tell you something. I went through the same exact thing. Right. So it's not a matter of is the game flawed and are the people that play the game they're not true fans of the game or they're not this or that. No, the game is designed to put you in a circle of people who don't think the way you do, Russell.
And the crazy thing about the game is that exact thing right there. This is what. Now, I'm not saying that I haven't learned things by playing the game so many times now and seeing myself. I'm just saying that I think I had the best performance in season 19. Now, what you're saying, that's exactly my problem. Is it's so difficult because I could have won season 19 with a different jury. But you're right. I had to learn who I was playing and understand who that person was as a person. Not even in the game. Not even playing the game. Like I had to consume myself
alliances, immunity wins, and all that shit is nothing. The essence of the game is understanding your opponent.
Right.
You understand? You need to understand their opponent, what makes them tick, what aggravates them, what they perceive as something that disgusts them. Right? So again, I'm not naming names on my season.
Listen, I did not get none of that. I did not comprehend any. No, trust me. Exactly what you're saying. I have been dealing with it. I understand that now.
You understand it now.
I get it now. But that whole time, I was like, but that's what you have to do now. What you're saying, you have to understand everyone individually as a person and who they are outside the game, not just in the game. It is such a hard game. But for people like us, it is such a difficult game. Now, yes, you can float through the game. Yes, you can get lucky and get there. But people that actually play the game, it is extremely difficult, especially the aggressive people that play the game, because you have to do all that and not just play it. Go ahead.
But what you're also saying is like an aggressive player like yourself or myself. You know, you got to remember, you're in a circle of a group of people who are perceiving you as aggressive, okay? But tell me the truth, because for me, this is how it is. In my neighborhood, and I'm sure it's the same for you,
go ahead.
You're not that aggressive of a person in your circle of friends, right? In your circle of friends, you're just another guy.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I'm the fun guy. Like
all right, you're the fun guy.
In college, all the guys, I wasn't in a fraternity, but I had like 4 of my best friends were in fraternities, and they wanted me always at the party because I was that guy that, we just had a good time. And everybody loved me. It wasn't like I was aggressive in a different way.
You were probably more risk taking than some of the other group, and that's how I am.
Like I would go.
That's how I am too.
If I'm with whatever.
Exactly. If I'm with my friends, I'm the same way. If like we're up in the air about should we do something, I'll be the one that says, yeah, we should do it. Why shouldn't we do it? Right. But the point I'm trying to make is that in my group of friends, I'm mild compared to the group of guys I hang out with. Right. The group of guys I hang out with make me look like a priest. I am an angel. But even though I am I'm from Long Island, New York.
Oh yeah, of course.
Oh, here we go. Yeah. Anyway, if you take me out of my garden and stick me in a game with people from all over the country who have a much first of all, the age difference is huge to begin with. All right, I'm 40 now. I'm playing the game with 20-something-year-olds. I can relate to 20-something-year-olds.
I was good at that part because I have my children and teenagers. I was right in there with whoever.
Russell, I have 8 brothers and sisters, and 6 of them are in their 20s, so I can relate. Trust me. I know what they're listening to. I know all that shit. But at the end of the day, I can't force myself to be a 25-year-old again.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's the tough part of the game, where when you know in the shelter at night, they're talking about shit that you've never heard of before, and you want to get involved in that conversation, but you can't because you're not 25. Right. You know what I mean? So you have to figure out a way. All right, I can't do anything right now. It's nighttime, and they're having a good time talking about this and that. And Chance the Rapper. I dealt with Chance the Rapper and Kanye West. And holy shit. And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Everything else.
Yeah. So the next day, I had to figure out a new way to play a different social game that kind of brought them back into, back to one-on-one, type of reality with these people, because I couldn't relate to any of the shit they would talk about in these group conversations about, what's hip and what's going on. Right. So for me, that was my challenge. But I think once I got my footing, I was able to kind of maneuver my way through the game a little bit. But this is the essence of the game, man. This is where you have to, even though you're not 25 anymore, you have to be able to put yourself, you have to remember what it's like to be 25. And you have to remember that if there's a 25 or a 22-year-old girl out there playing the game, that you have to say, all right, if I'm a 22-year-old girl, what am I eating?
Good with that. I had Miss Arkansas washing my underwear.
I mean, you had all the young girls.
I was good. I am good. Why do I play good with Poverty? Why did I play good with Natalie? Why did I play good with Stephanie Valencia and Krista Klump? The head cheerleader at Auburn University. Why do those people trust me? Can you tell me?
I don't know the true dynamic. From what I witnessed, I don't know. It looked like they felt like you're going to make moves in the game, and they probably could use you as a shield at some point. I'm not.
Natalie White didn't say that one time. Not one time.
No, I'm not saying that. Well, Natalie White, that was your first season. No one thought you needed to be a shield.
She didn't say that. If she would have said, I'm going to align with this guy because I'm going to use him as a shield. If she would have said anything like that one time, I would have gave her credit for the win.
I would say that doesn't apply to season 19. But, I mean, after people
should
have
I
watched...
won season 19?
All right, for 19... No, I don't... I give you credit. You locked in some...
So Natalie White should have won season 19.
So what was your... So let me ask you this question then. What was the reason for every season you played approaching the young girls in the game? And I'm not concerned that you're, it's a sexual thing by any means. I'm not implying that. But did you feel like you had an edge mentally on them?
Yes.
You just did. You said, I can control these girls. They're young. They don't know much.
Exactly.
I can control them.
That was my plan. And then when I got to Parvati, I knew she was a better player. I knew she knew what she was doing.
Yeah, she's not.
It wasn't. This is how I always said it with Parvati. It wasn't like I was that she was a coattail rider. I had to drag her through the game. I had to grab her by her feet and drag her through the mud. I had to give her the idols. I had to tell her, no, that's not the right move. The day she played the 2 idols, she was going to play just one. But everything changed in the van without the viewers seeing, because I was like, look, it's not going to be this person. It's going to be this person. You need to give, because I thought she just had one idol. So I was telling her it's going to be Jerry. It's going to be Jerry. I seen Amanda's mouth move. When we're on lockdown. Lockdown means everybody's shut down. We can't talk until you get to tribal council. I see Amanda's mouth move saying Jerry. So I'm trying to convince Parvati, because we already said that she has to give the idol to Sandra to save Sandra. Then I'm like, no, they're going to vote for Jerry. So she was so confused, she gives 2 idols. 2 idols that day. And guess what happens after that? After she gives 2 idols, because she was so confused, because I convinced her to play another idol, the one in her pocket that she's smart enough not to play, because if she plays it, then I know she is lying to me because I gave it to her and she never told me about the one that she found. So by her playing the second idol was a huge mistake because it pisses me off. But guess what? She was so confused that day, she played 2 idols. And some people say that that's one of the best moves in Survivor history. And I'm the one that orchestrated that one too.
This is just so funny because I think I watched this about a half an hour ago.
Just saying.
But okay, so tell me about this part because I remember at
we aren't even supposed to talk about me. We're supposed to talk about you.
No, this is about you. Don't worry about me. I'm good.
No, this podcast is about you.
No. But I just watched the reunion show where, or whatever, the whole ending and Parvati was saying how you guys protected each other, and you're sitting there saying, "You protected me? How did you protect me?" And that right there show like that, like you said, like why are you being so argumentative? Okay. You know what I mean? Like, and even when people at Final Tribal, when you're giving your Final Tribal speech, and people are coming at you,
you know what? You know why? Because this is why.
I observed it. I have my own. I have my own thing. Again, you first.
Let me tell you why I always was aggressive and like, this is what I did. Because in season 19, I said, you are all sitting there because of me. You have to respect that because I did that. I put you there because all my life I've been an athlete, and all my life when we lost, we had to shake the other people's hands. I didn't understand. And this is the part that I didn't understand. I didn't get what we just talked about earlier. I didn't understand how if I beat you, you have no other option but to vote for me. That's what I thought. All my life, that's what it's been. I never watched Survivor before. So I just beat you. I just buried you. So you have no other option but to vote for me no matter what happens. It's your duty to vote for me because I beat you. But that's not how it works.
Yeah, so you thought that, exactly, just like in a sporting event, I kicked your ass,
right? Shake
my hand, give me my trophy,
right,
and walk away.
Yep. That's what I used to think. Dude, if I ever play American Survivor, I say American Survivor now, but if I ever play American Survivor again, or Legends or anything like that, I'm a shut my motherfucking mouth, and I ain't gonna do a motherfucking thing, and I'm gonna let them vote me off with me doing absolutely nothing. I'm gonna stay in camp. I'm not gonna walk around. I'm not gonna do nothing. If they that scared of me, then I'm just going to be, then that's just it, man. I can't do it. I can't play.
Well, first of all, I don't believe you're capable of sitting quiet.
I am.
Okay?
I
There's
am.
no fucking way you're not doing anything.
I'm telling you.
That's first of all. Second of all,
I'm telling you.
Second of all, I'm as a fan of the show and someone who's followed your gameplay throughout the years, to hear you say that you realize that you made that mistake, to me, that's pretty big deal. That I don't know if you've admit that to other people in the past.
No,
publicly.
I haven't really talked about it.
But to me, that's great that I'm cracking this egg open right now. You're sitting here telling me that you realize that it wasn't about you beating your opponent.
Are you the host here?
I'm taking over the Russell Hand show.
What's happening here?
I'm in charge. But I'm for real. I'm really I'm intrigued because I wasn't sure if you had in your head, like, to this day after all these years, like, screw that. These people still don't see it.
Man, if people ask me all the time, would you do anything different? I would not. The only thing I would do different, I guess I would. It would be the speech at the end. I would, instead of in your face, like, you have to vote for me. I beat you. I'm the one that won this game. Give it to me. Instead of that, I would apologize because that's what they want to hear. Because
let me jump in there because I just watched both of your final tribals. You didn't apologize in the first one, but you did apologize.
Look, I was so stubborn. I was not.
Yeah.
The second one, I kind of did.
No, you apologized the second one. I think you recognized the first time. And just let me make this clear. I did not apologize to the people I hurt in my season at Final Tribal either. And I think that has a lot to do with it. I think there's other things that have to do with it. And let me just get into this. And I know we're supposed to not be talking about you so much, but why not? Let's talk about you.
No, we're talking, man.
Because in 19, I believe strongly, even though you played, maybe your final tribal speech was stubborn and it was aggressive, and you said, hand me my trophy. I thought it was,
you know who else? Somebody that hates me now for some fucking reason. Steven Fishbach talks shit about me like he wants me to fight him. Like, look, I can be an aggressive guy. If you fuck with me, I'm gonna fight you. If you hit me, I'm gonna hit back. Like, but I am I'm also a very, my children live with me. You know, I'm
so you have a sensitive, soft side to you, but
I'm not stupid. I have wisdom. I'm not going to do something stupid that's going to end up me being in jail or something stupid like that. But you're not going to punk me. You're just not going to do it. You're not going to disrespect me. So anyway, Stephen Fishbach.
Well, hold on. Let me finish my statement. Let me
before I forget, Stephen Fishbach, you know, all he does is talk shit about me now. And before that, he said in one of his fishies, he said my speech was one of the best speeches in season 19 that he's ever heard.
Did he elaborate on why he thought it was? Well, I have to go back
because I laid down what I did. I laid down.
In other words, yeah, you took credit. Said, not that you took credit, you owned it. You said, yeah, I did these things, but that's what I needed to do. Here's what I want to say.
I'm confused.
Let me jump in here a little
bit.
10
years later.
All right. But let me tell you something about 19 for you. You had a few votes in 19, right? What'd you have? 2 votes? 3 votes?
2 votes.
I believe it would have been much closer if Eric Cardona didn't give his speech at the end.
Okay, let me tell you about Eric's speech. This is weird how this happens. You know production. We see production. Okay, Eric, when you watch the show, Eric's speech is last, right? And then
it didn't really happen last.
No, he convinces everybody because his is last. In actuality, Eric's speech was first.
Really?
Yes,
I still think it had a huge impact on
Eric. She doesn't deserve it. Eric's speech was stupid. It
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you think it's stupid.
And I'm so shocked that Eric even did that, because after he said I should have won, in a party after he said that he apologized, I should have won.
Okay, and you know what? Yeah, but Russell, I got the same thing. I had people who voted against me in my season, and after the finale aired, they came up to me and said, you know, I don't know what I was thinking, and I'm not saying anything else about that, but I know what you're saying, but I don't care, regardless of his speech being good or not. It had an influence. It had an influence on the jury. There's no question about it, because when I watched it, I was like,
"Oh no!"
They're giving people an avenue. They're now looking at what else is.
Nobody was. Man, we've been talking about this shit for 10 years.
Okay, I haven't. So
the same shit for 10, and I hear what you're saying. And yes, Eric's speech.
All right, so you've obviously been through this 1,000 times. So let's move on.
Let me tell you why that's not the case. Because me and Monica became close friends after the fact. She told me in Ponderosa, before any speeches were said, that Laura and the gang were trying to get to where I didn't even get second place before any speeches were said.
Yeah, you know what about that though? Like I've heard a lot of shit about like these votes are already decided at Ponderosa.
It was decided at Ponderosa. Get
out of here! Listen to me. Listen to me, my man. It's your job to change their fucking mind.
Do you
hear me?
Seriously think that? Do you seriously think that wasn't the case? When they're trying to get to where they said, let's make it to where Russell don't get second place. They sitting there drinking. Oh, it's too risky. It's too risky because Sambo's going to vote for him and so-and-so's going to vote for him. It's too risky. So let's go ahead and all vote against.
So you got this in your head that at Ponderosa your fate was determined ahead of time.
100%. You telling me?
Well, then that's where you lack in the game.
Are you
that's
telling
where you lack
me
in the game.
Never happened at Ponderosa. If you're saying that, then you don't know nothing about the entire system of the game.
Well, Russell, all I can say is you're given the ability.
You do know you came second.
You're given the ability.
You do know you came second.
Absolutely, and I did a shit job at Final Tribal.
Okay.
If I didn't do a shit job, I would have won the game.
If you would have did the fire challenge, what would have happened? And won?
I think if I took Wendell on in fire and beat him, I think I win the game at least 8 votes to 2.
Easy.
Yeah, because that's the ballsiest thing
you
you
are
can
a
do.
student to the game, and you made the wrong move right there.
Yeah, I did. I fucked up, and I admit it.
So do you think that was your flaw in the game?
That's the one that keeps me up at night. That's the one that keeps me up at night.
But if you would have done that. We're going getting back to a little bit to your season. I want to talk about your season a little bit.
Oh, thanks.
If you would have done that, and I've done my things. I made huge moves in the game. If you would have done that, if you would have did the fire, that would have been the biggest, boldest move in the entire game, in the history.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Did you
and it's going to happen.
That when you said that when you decided in your mind, what were you thinking at that point? Were you thinking, okay, I could either do this, it'd be the big, crazy, big, bold move, and I beat him, or I don't do it, and I'm just going to wish for the best?
No. There's 3 thoughts. And the first one is I am confident in my game that if Wendell's at the end with me, I'm going to beat him because I had the same mentality like you.
No, if you thought you was confident you was going to beat Wendell, then I'm okay with your decision.
Wait. Let me break it down.
Okay.
So my first original thought was I just won Final 4 challenge. I am going to Final 3, and I'm good going up against any other 2 because I know my game was the best. The same way you thought it. The same way you thought.
Yeah, but Wendell had a winning game though.
Okay.
Natalie did not.
But in my mind, I thought I had a better game, and I also thought I had
I get
But wait,
yeah.
Listen, let me finish. I also thought I had a better ability to plead my case than him. Okay, so I said for sure I'm at least beating him 6-4 in votes. Okay,
Wow.
So that was my original thought. But now I'm saying to myself, you know what? 6-4 might be cutting it close. How can I get Wendell out of this game and not worry about it? If Wendell's out of this game, the game is mine, right? So now I go to Laurel. She doesn't want any part of going to fire with him. I go to Angela. She doesn't sound very confident. She doesn't really want any part of it either. And I say to myself, shit, if anyone's going to beat him, it's going to be me. And I sit there and I have this thought for about 2 hours. And I'm like, all right, I have to make this decision. Do I want to take him on and fire? And this exact thought crossed my mind. And the thought was this. If I do this and I beat him, I will go down as one of the greatest players of all time because no one was guaranteed Final 3.
You would have, man.
Risked it, right? I would have.
But you can't take that risk.
But
I don't know, dude.
I would, but Russell, it's not that
I don't know if I would have done it, man.
It's not that I was afraid to take the risk. Listen to me. I'm a fucking gambler, brother. I don't mind taking the risk.
But you didn't.
I convinced myself I didn't need to.
Oh, you didn't need to take the risk.
I convinced myself I didn't need to. And I wasn't that far off from my assumption that I didn't need to because at the end of the day, I tied him 5 votes apiece.
Right. No, yeah.
You know what I mean? So I wasn't totally crazy. I didn't go into it saying I played the best game. Fuck that. They're going to hand me my trophy. You know what I mean?
Right.
I went into it saying he played a good game, but I played a better one. Right. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, and you can't take that risk. You can't take the risk if you think you're going to win it.
If you think that,
no, it's a better move. You made the better move by not doing it.
I guess, but did I? I mean, I didn't win.
Well, no. You had okay. Now this is another discussion. You have to think what's the best move in the game. I just played Australian Survivor,
which I watched as well. By the way.
The reason I didn't play the Idol because everybody
I gave you shit about that on Twitter. I gave you shit about that.
There was so much behind the scenes that you didn't see on TV.
I believe
that I knew I was in trouble. I knew, and just like you, 5-5, 12 people voted. Only 4 voted for me to get voted out that night. So I knew I had that string. If you had that string,
So what was it? 4-4, 2-2.
yes. So I
So
knew
you tied, and at that point you couldn't replay your idol
and the
because
thing
you
is,
already.
nobody wanted to vote. Yeah, it wasn't a super idol or
Right.
anything.
Right.
But everybody was so confused. Nobody knew how to play the game. Everybody voted differently. Nobody was listening.
They were all virgins. They were all virgins. It was your 4th time playing.
Yes, and my people didn't, but it wasn't about that. It wasn't really about my 4th time playing. It was
No.
about,
I know that. I'm just saying, like, from
it was
your
more
point
about
of view,
me being an American.
Right.
So more me being. I don't care if you're. Now I'm going to say this. I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat. It was more about me being Donald Trump because I was American. Period.
They saw you as a Southerner. Who
it didn't
just
matter if you was from the North. It didn't matter if you was a left wing supporter.
Okay.
It didn't matter.
All right. So, and did you recognize that? Did you see that
immediately? And I was saying, "Yeah, you right." You know, I was with.
So why didn't you play your fucking idol, Russell?
No, because I knew that I had because, like I just said, 12 people voted. 4 people only voted for me to go home.
Right. So technically, you were right. 8 people weren't voting for you.
I knew if I could discuss the idiots that needed to vote. Like, you need to all vote the same way, guys. I don't know if you watched Survivor for a while, but you all vote the same people. That's how this works. But I didn't know that, and I'm pretty. I guess you can call me a professional at this point. And I knew things were spiraling downhill, and I knew I needed that idol around my neck. I knew if I went if I went back to the camp with it, that I was in trouble. If I would have went back to the camp with the idol around my neck, my own alliance would have been like, no, I'm sorry. If I would have went back to the camp with the idol around my neck, then my alliance would have been okay. If I would have played the idol, and then I would have found another one, then my own alliance would have been like, this dude is dangerous.
I hear you. I mean, I gave you grief
on
Twitter about it.
I even said I never talk about this shit again because it was a tragedy.
Why?
Everything was wrong with the game. It wasn't Survivor. We was given food. We were given water. We were given shelter. We would give.
Yeah, I've heard all that. And who gives a shit? That has nothing to do with the game. The starvation, all that shit's nothing.
It does for me.
Oh, it does for you because you can handle it and other people can't.
No, because I thrive off other people suffering. You know, man, when other people suffer, you can get things. You did it. You might even not know you did it.
It's not that I thrive off of them suffering. I just have.
No,
I think I have a greater.
I'm saying
I just have a great but I just have a greater threshold for like starvation, and I'm the big guy. I'm the heavy guy.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, when other people's hungry and tired and crying, and you're not, you are the strong one that they can put their shoulder on. They can lean on. They can lean on your shoulder.
Yeah, I will also say that I had a pretty easy season in the fact that I think it only rained for 2 or 3 entire hours the entire 39 days I was out there. So I didn't deal with elements of weather at all like any of these other seasons.
Every single time.
I know.
So,
and I do notice, and there's one thing I saw you say, like, these guys are all huddled up.
I criticize me about, by the way. But go ahead, finish that conversation.
No, because I see that's where I'm with you. Where when it's raining and miserable and people are, I'm not going to say they're suffering, but they're just not in game mode. That's when I feel like I can do some work. You know what I mean? Like, all right, they're not thinking about the game right now. I'm gonna think.
That's what I'm saying about the weather.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now, I wish, man. I wish that I could say what you're doing. I don't know if you know that you're doing this, but by saying, "Hey, Wendell, yes, he was. He deserved to win. He's okay. I'm okay with it because he."
Anybody that wins the game
because he did okay.
That's my final.
You sound like Richard Hatch.
No, I sound like Tom Westman.
Yeah, no, well, I'm just saying everybody deserves a win, wins the game. Yeah, some people get lucky as fuck, and that's how they win because
Who
of
got
luck.
lucky?
Only you got lucky. You won.
I got lucky?
No. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Somebody else says you got lucky. You got lucky. You win. Natalie White. She gets. If there's any case of any survivor in the history of the game, it would be season 19. You get lucky. You win. You got the most aggressive player ever to play the game. He takes you in. You don't take him in. She don't take me in. She don't take me in. I take that bitch in.
Let me ask you a question.
They say, Natalie White gets behind Russell Hantz. That bitch don't get behind. I bring that bitch behind. Get on my back, bitch.
Let me ask you a question.
I'm just saying.
And let's you obviously are still locked and loaded with this. It's been 10 years. I'm gonna say something though.
Okay.
What if she's a fucking genius?
But she never said it, dude.
And she knew you were gonna screw over every person you shook hands with and looked in their eyes.
That would be amazing, and I'd give her credit. But not once in her confessionals, anywhere on camera, anywhere in anything has she ever said that. Never.
Maybe
until it was over. Then she said it.
What did she say? That I'm a genius and I
when
knew
it was
you were
over,
gonna
she
implode?
said, "Oh, I knew that they would do this to Russell." That only took the credit away from her. Because if you thought that, Natalie, why didn't you say this during the game? Because she didn't think that. She was a whipped little puppy that I was seriously. A whipped little puppy that I was dragging along that was doing absolutely nothing but washing my underwear. And she's got
your million though.
No, I got way more.
After I know.
Well,
you got more money.
I'm not talking about what I do for a living now. I'm talking about after the fact. Now they came, and she was right. She came up to me and she said, "You're going to end up with $1 million anyway, dude, with the show, like the money from the show."
I don't think the money was important to you. I think the title was.
No, hell no, man. I never.
The money was important to me.
Well, yeah, I think that that's my whole. Look, you say. And Richard Hatch has this, and I want to get a little bit deeper into this.
Talk about Hatch.
Because I need to know how you're okay with just, if you're a super fan of the show, how you're okay with someone like Natalie White winning. Because you and Richard told me this before, if they win, they deserve to win.
Okay, I'll tell you why I'm fine with her winning. For the same thing I told you earlier. It's your job to recognize the content and the personalities that you're playing the game with, and you fucked that up.
When did the jury bidder come into? Because it used to be, you play, you outwit, you outlast, right? So
and you outplay, all that shit.
So usually it was like, okay. I beat him in challenges. I beat him 20 times. I won 20 challenges. I'm just saying. I socially dominated this game, and I physically dominated this game. But you could keep your mouth shut. Do you think Ozzy is an aggressive guy? Ozzy is the timidest. I know him personally. The dude he's like a butterfly. Seriously. Sure. And then you're not going to give him the win?
Well, hold on. Let me ask you a question. You come into the game knowing the rules, and the rules say this. You're going to play on 2 teams. There's going to be swaps.
You do know that a lot of people are going to disagree with you.
No, just listen. Let me say this, okay? You know the rules going into the game, and the rules say you start on 2 teams or 3 teams or whatever it may be, and there's swaps and there's merges and this and that, and then you're going to work your way down from a merge, and a jury is going to develop.
Yeah, I didn't.
And by the way, Mr. Player, the people you vote out will become the jury members. Mm-hmm. And those jury members are going to determine whether or not they give you the million or not.
So
here's the discrepancy in your game. Here's where you have an issue.
Here's the discrepancy in fucking Survivor. When they go to Ponderosa and I'm not there. Listen. They go to Ponderosa and I'm not there, and they're drinking and doing shots and partying, and they're deciding who's going to win the vote. when they're saying this person did this person, I'm not even around.
Oh, okay.
And I can't defend myself. That's
So
the discrepancy.
Okay.
That's where I said a flaw in the game. And I'm not hollering at you. I'm hollering at the
holler
situation.
away. Give it to me.
That is the flaw in the game. It's Ponderosa.
Okay,
I think if I would have had everybody separated at Ponderosa, I would have won season 19.
Well, let me just say something. Wendell is way more likable than me. So why didn't at Ponderosa they decide to vote 10 votes against me? Because Wendell's more likable. This is what I'm saying. You're sitting here blaming it on what goes on at Ponderosa.
You don't know
Let me finish.
I heard that.
Let me finish.
Go ahead.
I just watched your seasons in preparation for this podcast to give you a good podcast. I witnessed you staring opponents in the face, in the eyes, shaking their hand and saying, dude, it's me and you in the final 3. And then the next day, you vote that guy out. And you're saying that has nothing to do with it, that all this shit took place at Ponderosa?
About voted for me.
What do you mean the one? You did it like 50 times.
Who did I vote? They all knew they was going to get voted. You watched season 19?
I didn't watch I've watched season 19 probably 5 times.
The only one I shook at the hand and promised was John Fincher, and he voted for me. Other ones I didn't promise.
What about what's his name? Brendan, the kid that was on the other tribe that won all the challenges except for the poll.
He knew he was going home.
Did you not say to him before? Did you not sit on the beach, shake his hand, and say, "Bro, me and you, final 3"?
No.
Don't say no. I just watched it. Dude, I just fucking watched it.
Are you kidding me? You played the fucking game, and you just watched 45 minutes of a fucking TV show, and you're telling me that you know what I said out of that whole 24-hour day. I know what I told that motherfucker.
I'm not saying the whole 24-hour day.
I know what I told that motherfucker. You might be okay with production doing what they do, but I know what I told that motherfucker.
I'm not saying. Okay, so you're saying more went into that conversation.
They all told me that I would. I thought for sure I was going to win that season because they all told me something that you didn't see. That you're one of the great man. I'm just happy to be here. I'm just happy to be here.
I'm happy to be a part of the Russell Hantz season because you're the greatest.
Well,
they all told you that? Is that what you're saying?
No. I'm talking one person told me that. They voted me not. And then every time you see the show, when I'm talking, you see the guy that you said. Well, I don't even fucking know his name. The guy that keeps talking. What was his name that said the speech? I said he said it first.
Cardona.
Cardona. Yeah. Eric. Cardona. The whole time I was playing my idols and doing my thing, he was shaking his head, like pumping his fist in there, like, yes, she did it. What? But then when it comes down to Ponderosa, and they all get there and do
so you're saying he did his job at Ponderosa.
I'm saying if Ponderosa would have separated each individual, this is what I truly believe.
I've heard this theory from you already.
This is what I truly believe.
Put them in separate quarters. Don't let them talk to each other.
If you had separate just venues, I don't know. You don't have to put them in a fucking corner. Separate venues. I mean, you got $100 million company here. You put them in fucking separate venues.
So send them all over the country.
Can't afford it?
You mean like separate hotels or some shit like that?
No big deal. Just fucking separate ends of the fucking hotel. Come on. You get one person to talk to stay with a handler, talk to this person.
And how does that work out for the guy that gets voted out first?
No, I just think it makes
first jury member, and they're sitting alone in solitary for 22 days.
It sucks. Yeah, it sucks for the fucking guy, but it makes the show more pure.
Oh, pure. Okay.
I
won't disagree. I won't disagree.
Look, American Survivor is the best TV show ever. Jeff Probst is by far the best host in TV history. The dude, the dude is on point. He looks at you in the fucking eye and he knows.
On point.
He already knows. So,
on point.
So he is the best host in history. We have one of the best reality shows in the entire history of television.
And me and you are a part of it.
Yes, but what I'm saying is when I said that it was a flaw to the game at Ponderosa, I'm just saying I want it pure. Yes, it would suck. Trust me, if I got voted out and I got to sit there with fucking Bob for fucking 25 days, it would suck. But it would make the game more pure.
You're saying it would make the result of the game more pure.
Yes. If that would have happened,
I respect that opinion.
Shot?
I do.
Let's say that would have happened. Let's say that would have happened in your season. Tell me the votes.
I don't honestly, I don't know how that affects my season if it's broken
It affects
up.
mine for sure.
Let's talk about it, because the first 5 people that went to Ponderosa voted for me, and the second 5 people that went to Ponderosa voted for Wendell. So what does that mean? Who the fuck knows what that means?
No, yeah, it doesn't always. I'm not always right. It doesn't.
Yeah, no.
It's not
what
always
I'm saying
right.
is this. What I'm saying is this, though. Let's just take this, and let's talk about the Ponderosa thing, even though I think by contractually I'm not supposed to be. But if they're going to Ponderosa and we know that ahead of time, we have to take that into consideration as players.
Well, now
do we not have to take that into consideration?
Oh, for sure.
Like as a player, Russell,
the first season 19, I said there was a flaw in the game. That was season 19. Now I'm seeing the flaw, and you have to take that.
You said the flaw,
right.
yeah, because you said the flaw in the game was that America needs. You said America needs a percentage of the vote.
Yeah, but
that's
I was
bullshit.
Talking about
that's American Idol.
But I was talking about the reason I said there was a flaw in the game was because of Ponderosa.
In other words,
yeah,
right.
So that was
regardless of the American vote,
that was
the real flaw you were talking about was the Ponderosa issue.
So if now that I see the game, I understand the game. That you got to realize I played 3 times in a year and a half. So I didn't know none of that shit. I didn't even watch Survivor. I wasn't a fan.
It was a lot for you to absorb for a guy who's not a Survivor fan.
Now I understand that you have to take that flaw into consideration. I get that. I understand.
That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
I knew that they go back to Ponderosa and they may converse or they may
I didn't
not.
know none of that. But then I'm like, okay, this is a major problem.
So being that you know every nook and cranny of how the jury system works, I would love to see how you play your next game if you ever played again. Right. I mean, I know you just played Australian, but you're right. It's not the same because the rules and regulations there are different.
Yeah, whatever.
That
was so.
And I don't know what I heard some shit in the news that maybe you're not allowed to play again, whatever that is. I don't know. I don't want to get into that. But
do you know that Australian Survivor is owned by CBS?
I know, and I know that might be a little potential.
Then that may be it. Then it may be just happened. If I wasn't ever allowed to play again, it just happened. It didn't. It wasn't something that's.
Oh, it wasn't from. Play. It wasn't from. Yeah, because I think I read something on the internet like a year ago about.
That's not the case, and because I've got caught. Willie Hance, my brother, that headbutted. They said supposedly headbutted on Big Brother. Which, if you watch the tape, if you ain't watched it, Google Willie Hance.
I know the Hance brothers are all over reality.
He headbutted. He said he headbutted. He didn't. It was bullshit. But anyway, they called him for Big Brother. So.
Right.
They've called me. They called me for Candy Crush.
Where were you? I didn't see you out there.
Because why would I do? You really?
Why not?
Because I don't do that shit. That's Russell Hands, bitch.
You're too good for Candy Crush?
Hell yeah.
I don't think so. Nobody's too. Listen, Russell. That's your flaw. That's your flaw. You think you're bigger than the game. Nobody's bigger than the game, Russell. Nobody's bigger than the game.
Candy Crush, bitch.
I know.
No, I'm not bigger than Survivor. Hell no.
I'm
bigger than these stupid shows that get canceled after 4 times. I'm smarter than that, man. I'm smarter than that. That's all.
Well, you said it yourself that the fans want to see more Russell Hance. So if the fans want to see more Russell Hance, why aren't you on Candy Crush?
Do you really want to see me
strapped up? I want to see you
from a string, grabbing a candy.
I want to see you strapped up so that people can make memes of you and put them all over Twitter.
No, I'm not. I just you would have probably known that. Oh, he's going to say no to Candy Crush. Would you say yes to Candy Crush?
Dude, I don't care. I'll fucking eat dog shit. I don't care. I'll do
Dude,
anything.
You are one.
I mean,
of
I
the,
won't do anything.
You
I
are
have a
one
family.
of the greats.
I have
though,
to.
now.
I
You
have
became
to.
one of the greats. Do you know that?
I have to. I have to be able to. I
know,
need my
I
kids to grow up and be like.
over and-
I need my kids to grow up and say that's my dad, and he's a man of respect, and
Yeah,
he won't do
exactly.
anything.
He's not going to do
But-
Candy Crush. My dad's a man's man.
What is Candy Crush? That's
I don't
nothing.
give a dude. I don't care about Candy. It was a
Whatever.
$10,000.
If there's a small payout, I go do it. Whatever.
Yeah,
and it's fun.
Really, I'd rather go dig a ditch.
That's
But anyway,
because you don't dig ditches for a living.
I do. I've done.
Well, so
I just
do I.
dug a ditch the other day. No, I don't do it for a living.
We just
I don't do it for a
paved
living, but I will dig a ditch.
paved a 1,500-foot trench today, and I'll go do Candy Crush over paving trenches
Yes.
any day of the week,
no.
brother.
Yeah, well, I'll go help you dig that trench.
Good. I'd love to
But
see
I'm not
going
going
to
to help you play Candy Crush.
Fine. Me and
So-
Russell aren't going to be on Candy Crush. Hey, whoever's listening to this fucking podcast, me and Russell will not be on Candy Crush together.
No, we've had over 1 million downloads. So,
Oh, so
yes,
you're-
a lot of people listen to the podcast. Just saying.
Not a million. Yeah,
Yeah, 1 million downloads.
You haven't had a podcast since 2017, Russell. What makes me think that anyone's listening to this fucking podcast?
Maybe they give up on. Maybe they gave up.
If anyone's going to listen, it's going to be because I got to put something out there. I got to say, look, I talked to the devil himself, Russell Hance, and then people are going to want to know how this
So it
shit
doesn't
conversation.
hurt you. Look, I am. Did you listen to my podcast with Corinne and Max?
I think I did.
No, you
Refresh
didn't.
my memory.
If you think
No, because I heard that you went to another emotional
right.
side of yourself.
But
I
did you
heard
hear it,
I
though?
heard things about it. Can you just give me one hint
I'll
of what
give-
it was? I'm sorry.
Well,
I
no, I'm
apologize
not-
if I don't
you're gonna
remember
have
every
to listen
detail.
to it. You're gonna have to listen to it because this is. Are you passionate about the game? Do you fucking bleed Survivor?
My relationship with Survivor is that you tell me what makes me different than you, okay? Because
I don't know. That's what I'm trying
you
to find
started
out. I'm asking
this.
questions.
You started playing the game as a guy who never watched.
Did you
where
look for
I've been-
Idols Without Clues?
Did I find Idols Without
Did
Clues?
you look for Idols Without Clues?
Oh, so you didn't see my season because
No,
you're a
I'm-
diehard
no, I'm asking.
Oh, but I thought you bleed Survivor.
Listen, I'm
Do
asking.
you bleed Survivor?
I'm asking. No, I watched your season. I'm asking questions.
Okay,
to get results.
an idol. I found an idol.
Why would
on
I
the
ask you? Listen, Dom. Why would I ask you if you look for Idols Without Clues? Do you don't see my?
Oh, so you're saying
questions?
you're saying
You
okay,
don't
so you're
see what I'm going
oh, so
to.
it's rhetorical. It's rhetorical. You're saying you know I did.
Okay, so did you look for? Let's start over. Did you look for Idols Without Clues?
Yes.
Why? Who?
Because
When?
wait, on the second night when everyone was sleeping.
Why?
Because that was a good time to do it.
Why did you do that? Who?
Oh, you're saying because I eat, sleep, and shit Survivor? Is that what the answer you're looking for?
No, I'm looking for. Why did you look for an idol without a clue? Who
Well,
in the world would do something like that?
Oh, because Russell
now,
Hance showed
now.
me that it's possible
showed you
to
the
find idols without clues. Oh, are you happy now, sir?
I showed you the way. That was really hard to get that out of you, man.
I know, man. You went the wrong way with that, man. You don't know how to interrogate somebody. I can.
Well, I'm not.
You've been watching Making a Murderer, and you still don't know how to interrogate somebody.
I'm not. I wouldn't do it like that. Well, maybe
No,
I
you
would.
didn't.
I may do it like that because I'm unprofessional. So I would. Probably
No, you're
do it
not.
like
You're very professional. You just.
no, what I'm saying is, look, I love.
You changed the
TV
game,
show.
Russell.
Listen,
You fucking changed
but
the
listen,
game, my man.
I love the show. I love the TV show. I think it's one of the great. I think it will go down as one of the biggest. When we're long and gone, I think it's gonna be like
it'll be in history of
I
television.
think it's gonna be like Sanford and Son or something.
Right.
Like a
Sure.
historic.
It's on TV longer than Sanford and Son, so it definitely should
well,
be.
I'm just saying it's gonna be like a historical moment that lasts forever.
I agree.
And but when I play, it's really hard for me to play when I do, because I take everything personal, man. I take it serious. I take it personal. I cannot just say, when I go out there, it's for real for me. And it's not a game. In my mind, and I know it's like, oh, well, you don't know it's a game. It's a
but
game.
is it the game that is so personal for you, or you're just fucking competitive?
It's my
and it could be anything.
I think it's my journey in the game.
Your journey in the game.
It's everything that's happened negatively. Like this last time I played, I wanted to do things differently. I really did. For
Australia.
me and my family, yeah. And I wanted things to be different.
You were definitely more mild. I'll give you that. You were definitely toned down.
It was all. I didn't have.
It's not the same.
Shock.
It's not the same.
Yeah,
it's not the same. We can't really talk about that.
I'd rather,
it's not the
if
same.
I got voted off and see, if I did a Legend season and I was first off, I'm okay with that. Like for real, because I'm playing with the best of the best. They don't want to play with me. They don't want to play with me. That's fine.
Yeah, but let's talk about Redemption Island, because when you went out of the game and you broke down, that shows a true appreciation.
Right.
Is it a true appreciation for the game, or is it that?
Well, let me tell you what really happened.
You're just so fucking competitive, and it sucked to lose.
No. Let me tell you what really happened that night. Jeff was talking about I just lost, and then it's my first time out. 3 times playing, I'm out. So then I wanted to do things. I lost my marriage, my first and second season, because of me.
All right, you fucked up.
Right, I fucked up due
to
the opportunities because of Survivor.
I'm not gonna get it. I'm not gonna. Assume to know anything.
It's my fault. My marriage ended, but there was children involved, right. And then my third time I played, I just
how many years later?
It was only a year and a half, man. Within a year and a half, my marriage was over with me playing the game, and then my third time I played, I was like a sponge when it comes to my kids and what I've read that they wrote to me and different things that I've had a real major problem with. I'm a dad's dad. That's why they live with me. Right. And all this stuff happened. I was just a working guy. Then all this stuff happened. All of a sudden, I'm that guy. And then when I played my third time, I told Jeff that I want my children here so I could apologize for what I've done and to them.
Wanted them
and now I've already apologized to them.
Wait, but you wanted them there on the island?
On the island. As my loved ones visit.
As your loved one.
Yeah. Okay. My twin daughters were going to be my loved ones visit. Both of them. First time in history they're going to bring
What else do you have besides twin daughters?
I have my twin girls. I have my son and my baby girl. All 3.
So you have 4 kids.
Yeah. My twin girls live with me. My son lives with my mom, which I just built a room for him. He wants to live there. He's 2 miles down the road.
Are they all from your same ex-wife?
Yes.
Okay.
So when Jeff comes to me, he knew the whole thing was for me to get further for them. So he says, "What about your daughters?" That's when I broke down.
Oh,
it wasn't about the game.
In other words, when you left the game.
Yeah, Russell, I know you wanted to do this for your kids. That's when I fucking broke down.
Oh, and we heard him say that, right?
I don't even know it. I don't think so, man.
Oh, maybe not. All right, so he said it. It struck a chord,
and then he started.
But then you brought it all in,
like out. You know,
right? You brought it in like
I'm a fucking guy's guy. Trust me, I'm a tough dude.
You don't have to. You don't have to.
No, I'm saying
I'm just apologize for crying, brother.
No,
you don't have to apologize for crying.
I know that shit, and I know that. I'm not one of these people that say, "Oh, it's okay, it's okay." Dude, listen, I am who I am. Yeah. Nothing's ever going to change that. But when Jeff brings in my family, I am like I said.
He knows your trigger. He knows what to say.
That's what did it. That's what did it.
That's what he's good. You know.
Because I wanted them there. I wanted to apologize. I wanted to talk to them.
Oh, so
now,
it wasn't just your kids that really got you emotional. Is that you really were hoping for this moment to
listen,
reconcile
if I
all the
play
shit they
Legends
went
again, you know who probably would be my love? Let's say I'm married.
through? Right.
My loved one's visit would probably be Melanie, my ex-wife. So
Really?
So
you could have this moment.
The moment that she deserves.
What do you say? Let me jump in and let me ask this question. Do you say that you want to give her this moment that she deserves because I don't know the details of the breakup or anything like that, but would you say that she was kind of involved on a public forum? In other words,
not at all. She
no,
wasn't
nothing
even
like that.
close to being public about anything. It was
That's
all,
what I'm just saying.
was,
I don't know if she got her ass kicked on social media or something like that.
No, not like that. It would just be a personal thing because she went through. Look, dude, when I started my company, and I was be straight up. This is how my podcast is. But when I started Hans Tankering, we became extremely successful fast, and I was extremely aggressive to her because this an invoice was messed up or this was messed up. Constantly, they sent it back. We have $60,000 in invoices for the week. I'm like, what can you do?
Was she handling back office work?
She was doing 100% of over $1 million.
So you were mixing
billing.
Family with business.
No, she was just. That's all we had. I didn't.
Right.
Was,
you couldn't afford to hire people.
Yeah.
Your wife was your bookkeeper.
Yeah, we could have, but we were young. We just opened the company, and I was always on her, always about this and that, and then when when I played Survivor, it all went to hell, man, hell in a handbasket, and then
you left her. You left her with the shitty mess.
So after she busted her ass for me,
while you were on television,
yes,
having fun,
right,
and just so you know, and I'm not trying to cut you off because I really want to hear the rest of this. I didn't go through the same thing like you with a business, but my wife had a very hard time with me being away for 7 weeks with no communication. But go ahead, you continue. But just so you know that I'm kind of in your area.
Right.
But go ahead.
So, she had to deal with all this. And I think she deserves, she was a good wife. She was a good mom. I fucked up, dude. It's one of those things that when you fuck up, what can you do? What the fuck? What else was you? When you fuck up, you fuck up. You can't take that shit back. And then, that's it. Let me tell you what you do. You learn from that mistake. You get something called wisdom that is a gift from God. You get that because wisdom comes from deep, dirty places. You get that. When you get that, you achieve it.
Hit bottom.
You take it. You have to. If you don't learn from the mistakes that you make in your past, then you're damned already. You're nothing.
I agree.
So if you learn from it, then there's something good that came from it. Like I couldn't agree more.
I think I could not agree more. I have fucked up so many times in my life. I have hit bottom multiple times in my life, and that is your moment where you need to really recognize, like, what the fuck did I just do?
And I don't know why, man.
No, I know we're going into some weird territory here.
No, listen.
But
I was
Russell,
thinking today.
You're sitting here, Mr. Aggressive Russell, who everyone thinks is some mean, ruthless person. You're sitting here saying, I fucked up. That is the number one thing this country needs to do more of.
Yes.
Right or wrong? And I'm not going to get into politics or any Christian shit.
Right. Both sides. You're right. 100%.
But if people would more often say, I fucked up, I'm accountable, I know I did wrong, the world would be a better place. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, I have a few rent houses I was working on today. I work on them myself. And I'm working on them because it's something I like to do. And I'm thinking, man, you know what? I am also a religious guy. So I'm thinking to myself, maybe none of this should have happened. What good has come from any of this for me personally? Nothing.
Right.
Nothing. And then I'm like, well, the only thing that's good is the wisdom I've learned from it. If I didn't learn any wisdom from what I did, then all this was worth nothing. Then I might as well be nothing.
Right.
I did learn. I learned. This is a sad thing. My wife is like, my ex-wife. She said, you know what? You're going to be successful and you're going to have some rich. You're going to be rich and you're going to have some young blonde reaping everything I've done. And that hurt.
That hurts.
More than she even knows. I never even told her this.
I get that.
Because I understand what she's saying. I get it. I get what she's saying.
Yeah, I'm not in that. I'm not in that same situation. But I've been with my wife since 1996. We've been dating, and she has invested her life into me. And you're right. Like if another woman came into my life and kind of smooth, not to say whoever is in your life now is smooth sailing, but if the person who you have in your life now is kind of reaping some of that reward, yeah, it's almost like it's like, but someone built the foundation before that, right?
No, right.
So it makes you feel like, fuck. Like,
dude, I couldn't have done my company without Melanie.
Yeah.
Melanie Hance.
But
Melanie
look at you.
Menard Hance. I could not have done what I've done without her. And then all the negatively, the things that we both didn't know when we with a young company that's immediately we busted open. We had 15 employees within a month of opening the doors. We were overwhelmed, and I'm hollering at her. Like,
which is a good problem to have.
No,
it's a good problem to have, right? But
she remembers
you don't want to
days.
take it out on right. You don't want to take it out on.
She remembers those days as a bad image of our relationship till today.
There's a lot of things that'll make a relationship go to shit. You know what I mean? And business with family is. Oh, I work for my uncle. All right, so it's not the same where my wife is my bookkeeper, but I work for my uncle and. I legitimately will go to work into the office some mornings and be like, holy shit, like, am I about to, like, did I fuck up something where he's going to give it to me? And if it was just my employer giving it to me, I'd be like, no problem. It would legitimately not have an effect on my physiology.
Right.
But when my uncle, who's also my employer, and not that I have issues often with him. First of all, he's amazing. He's the best ever.
Right.
And I very rarely have an issue because I do my job very well. But the once, 2, 3, or 4 times a year that I do and he lays into me, it's a very fucked up feeling I get because is that my employer giving it to me or is it my uncle giving it to me? And it's just this weird thing that you have to really separate. And he doesn't like it as much as I don't like it because he has to be an employer, but he's also my uncle. And he's not just my uncle. He's a guy who has fed my family for a very long time and has been the most generous guy in the world. So I know what you mean when you mix a business with family. And this is different for you because it's much more intimate than what I'm talking about. And who's running your company? Technically, it's supposed to be you and your ex-wife running it as partners, probably.
Right.
But you know, your personality, whatever it is, and you see things different than she sees them, and she believes, wholeheartedly she's doing the right thing. It's in front of her. She sees it. She knows she's doing it right. You're seeing it differently, and you're saying nope. And you're giving it to her, whatever it is you're doing, I don't know. But you're laying into her, she's getting insulted by it, and the whole thing falls apart, or whatever the fuck it is. I don't know. I wasn't there. But I get it, is what I'm saying. And all I can say is, I don't know how long ago the whole thing went down, but it sounds to me that you see it. You recognize not only the situation with your ex-wife, but also in your game of Survivor.
Right.
That
Oh
definitely
yeah, no
there's
man. Everything has
something.
changed in my life, and look, that's why I accepted the challenge to go play Australian Survivor because everything has changed in my life. I
Yeah.
am a better person. I'm a better man. I'm a better father. Everything. I wanted to prove things differently,
Right.
and I just didn't get. I made the wrong decision. I should have waited for maybe Legends or whatever was coming. I shouldn't have did Australian Survivor, but
Why? Why do you say you shouldn't have?
well, because
Do you think that
I
if
didn't get
there's
an
a Legend season
opportunity.
coming, you think maybe for 40 there's a Legend season coming and you screwed yourself by going Australian
I think
Survivor?
there's a Legend season coming. Something big's coming, season 40, and I don't know if I screwed myself or not. I don't. If I
Why
screw-
would going to Australian Survivor screw you for a Legend season? Unless you think there's something else you've done that screws you
Oh
for
no,
a
I
Legend
didn't go
season.
to the reunion show or anything. I was done. So
You didn't go to Australian.
no, they wanted me to fly over there, 17 hours there and back for
They wouldn't pay
free,
Oh, for
with
free? No.
nobody with me
No,
for
no,
a party. For a
No,
party.
we don't go. No, we don't go to Australia for a party. No.
I was like, I played with Miss Universe, by the way. I wouldn't go there for if you told me Miss Universe was going to suck my dick when I got there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
No, I'm not going either.
so it's like, listen, you're going to have to give me more than Miss Universe right now.
Right. Yeah.
But
Why did they promise you Miss Universe would do that?
no, but I probably could have made that happen.
Whatever.
Hey, don't underestimate the king, Bob.
Yeah. I guess you're not. I guess you don't have a lady in your life at the
Oh
moment.
no, I'm a single man now.
Oh, okay. Then we could talk about that.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, I would. If I, that's a difference now. If I did have a lady in my life, you would already know her name and everything.
But I thought
about
I've
her.
recently seen photos of you
You
with.
did. You did.
And who is she? A friend?
She was.
Okay, a friend.
She was in my life for a little while, but then.
Oh, yeah, because that was not that
and she may
long
be-
ago. That was maybe like a week or two ago.
Yeah,
I
and
thought
she may be in my life again. But it's just
But Miss
we're
Universe.
working through a few things right now, and I'm single.
Okay.
And if Miss Universe wanted me to suck her, whatever, and she wanted me to suck my whatever, then
You better not delete 1 minute of this
You
podcast.
think
This
I
is the
would-
greatest thing ever.
you better. You don't even know me. If you think I'm.
I don't know. You said you got producers over there. I don't know if you're going to edit anything
have
out. If
one
you do,
producer.
you're terrible. This
have
is
one-
gold.
I have one producer. He's gonna do his thing, but I tell him send it. He sends the like if I was like. If it was like
Okay.
that, then he would cut in the. But it's impossible.
I think you're calling him a producer. He's really just your cousin or
My-
something.
it's my cousin.
By the way, I'm on my second bottle of Pinot Noir for this podcast, which I
Oh, we might as
made
well
sure
keep talking. So do you think that does it not bother you that you didn't win? It bothers me that I didn't win 10 years later.
it bothers me, but not to the point where I'm like, like it bothers
Did
me.
it fuck anything up in your life? Tell me
Yeah,
I'm
but
not the only one.
No, it doesn't fuck. No. How could it fuck up anything in my life?
I don't know. It could, easily. You kidding me?
No.
Really?
Why? Why would it fuck up anything in my life?
You just said your wife got upset. So maybe
She got upset that I was gone for 7 weeks with no communication.
Okay, maybe that did something to her. I don't know. What I know about people's personalities?
No.
What I know about people's personalities?
No. My wife legitimately had to go to therapy while I was gone,
No, that sucks.
and it's not because
Y'all never been apart or something?
it's not because we've been together since '96 and haven't been away from each other. So
Ever.
when we left each other, when I said I'm going to the
Man,
airport,
if I was married to you, I have to go to therapy anyway.
Well, no, yeah, thanks. But in other words, when we left each other, when I left to go play Survivor, neither of us realized how impactful it would be to not have communication after
Right.
being together every day since 1996.
Right.
So for me, it's easier because I mentally prepared for the game and I knew I was going to miss home and miss my kids and miss my wife. But I knew I was practicing. I was doing these techniques where I said, okay, if I feel this way, I'm going to compartmentalize it. I'm going to put it on a shelf in my brain, where my wife never prepared mentally for my departure. So I think I was gone for 5 or 6 days at this point.
Okay.
And I think she told me that on like day 6 she had a nightmare that I died.
Damn.
And
no wonder she had to go to therapy.
And when she woke up the next day, and I know it sounds so insignificant to most people that hear this, because it's like, what's the complaint? Your husband's playing a game for $1 million. Right. Like, what's the big deal? There's people in the military. I'm saying, like, if people are in the military and their wives or husbands
sign up for that, though.
That's different, right? In other words, those people are really suffering. How dare my wife complain that she's upset that her husband's gone playing Survivor? But you don't get what happens to certain people, not to everybody. Some people are tougher than others, but my wife, maybe she's a little more sensitive. And after day 6 and her having a nightmare that I'm dead, from that point forward, until she came out and saw me at the loved one visit, and not even until she saw me, even after she saw me, until I was home in her presence, she was like, I feel like you're a fucking enigma. Like, you're not real. What are you doing here? So it was that serious. It really fucked her up that much.
That's messed up.
And again, it's a combination of her personality and the circumstances. It doesn't mean that every wife who has a husband and plays the game is going to go through what she did, but she also lost her mother, back in 2004. So she's dealing with loss, and and I think the combination of that and a bunch of things, whatever the fuck it may be,
right?
Sorry, is just that she, went through.
Yeah, no, I get it. So the thing that gets me is fake ass people, right? Now, we're talking about you came second place. I don't think you're fake. I don't know you till today. I think you're real. I think what you're saying, you believe. Now, you don't have anybody in the history of the game, nobody except for me, nobody except for me, that says that bitch didn't deserve to win. I did. Nobody. Right. So the percentages, you would think with common sense involved, that someone is a bitter ass bitch like me. I'm a bitter ass bitch. I believe I deserve to win. And I say it. I say it because I believe it. They got some people that hold it in and never say it because they don't want to look like a bitter person.
Oh, you're saying if I sit here and tell you I think I should have won?
Should you have won?
I think I should have won.
Does it bother you, though?
But I also, I do believe I played a better game than Wendell. But I also, when I say I played a better game than him,
you're talking to you. I believe you're talking to yourself. When you explaining to me about the jury.
Let's go. I'll talk to myself.
No,
what do you think? I haven't talked to myself yet?
No. This whole time, you've been telling this to yourself. Oh. So I think.
So you want me to put it out in the universe?
You deserve. I think you should have won. I personally think you should have won.
I appreciate that, and many people agree with you.
You think you should have won, like you just said.
I do.
But there's something you have to tell yourself to make sure that doesn't eat you alive like it does me.
No, I'm not eaten alive by it, and here's why.
No, you're not, and I see that. And I think that's because you tell yourself that Wendell had a
very good game.
He had a good shot to beat you.
Yeah, it's not right, and I think that's the difference between me and you. You believe in your heart.
What if you went? If you went against somebody that didn't have a good? What if was Lauren? What was her name?
Laurel.
What if Laurel would have won? You been okay with that?
I probably would be more. I would probably have a harder time if Laurel beat me.
There you go. Now put Laurel.
So you're
as
saying
the winner.
I should compare that
put
to your situation?
Laurel as the winner, and then talk to me. You see,
I can't because that didn't happen.
Right, you can't. But it could have easily happened. It could have happened with different circumstances, with different personalities, with different.
But
people.
You know what, Russell? Here's the difference. When I went to Final Tribal,
you and Laura, who's going to win?
listen to
Wendell's
me.
not involved.
When
Wendell's not
here,
involved.
can we? No, let's involve Wendell and let's talk about
No,
the
let's
difference.
not involve Wendell. You and
Wait a
Laura,
second.
who's
No,
wins?
because that's not what happened.
No,
though.
I'm asking you your personality. Who wins? You and Laura. Easy.
I win.
Right? Easy.
Laurel admits that. I admit that. Everyone admits that. Laurel didn't get any votes at Tribal.
No.
So that's easy. I got 5. She got none. That's not like I'm insulting her. She knows that's
Did Laura
the case.
do anything to win the game? Did Laura do more? You seen my season 19. Did Laura do more than Natalie White or no? Like
Laurel.
forget about
Laurel.
the winner.
Russell. I hear what you're saying because you're comparing Laurel to Natalie White, and what I'm saying about that is that Natalie White was more visible.
She was more visible because she was playing with the most entertaining person ever to play the game.
Yeah. Let me get 2 more seasons in, and then we can compare notes on who's more entertaining.
No, I welcome you, dude. I don't even know if I'm ever going to play again. So you have a possibility of playing again.
For the record, I would love to not only see you on the show, I'd love to be on the show with you.
See, what would happen? Nobody knows.
I'd kick your fucking ass, dude.
So you see, saying that makes me say I got to vote you out immediately. Like before we even play. What kind of gameplay is
Russell,
that? So you're saying if it happens, I need to get rid of you first.
100%.
Okay.
I'm saying it now. If we and you are on the same season together, you got to get rid of me right away because you got to go. No, you don't have to go, actually. No, I'll kick your ass at Final Tribal.
No, if you're saying that you say you vote me out right off the bat, I got to get rid of you first.
Did I say that?
Yeah.
No, I said I'd kick your ass.
Oh, no, kicking my ass is okay.
Yeah, I'll kick your ass. I wouldn't vote you out. I would keep you to the end.
Kicking my ass at Tribal Council is fine.
No, you'll bury yourself. You'll bury yourself like you did twice. No, you'll bury yourself. I don't have to do anything. I'll just let you kill yourself. I'm okay with burying
myself. I'm talking about during the game.
Oh no, I won't vote you out. I will never vote you out.
You got to make big moves.
You have my commitment. I'll never vote you out.
But you have big moves you have to make sure that me and you stay together, right?
No, I don't want to stay together with you necessarily. If you end up with me at the end, you end up with me at the end.
Oh, well, then you'll never end up with me.
Okay.
Because
so we have to align.
Yeah, no,
I can't. I don't make commitments.
Every single time I played this game, my alliance goes to the end.
It doesn't matter. I'll kick your ass in the beginning of the game or the end of the game. You determine when I kick your ass, and I'll do it.
And I'm talking to future legends. When I play. My alliance goes to the end every time. When I go to the end.
Not every time.
When I go home, I go down with the ship. With my alliance. Instead of throwing my name off on my alliance, like I could have done in Australian Survivor. If I would have thrown my name off on my alliance in Australian Survivor,
still be in the game. Still be playing.
But I don't play like that. I don't.
Oh, what? You're noble? Like Coach?
No.
You're about man of honor and integrity?
No, I think that you need that in the game. I think you need. It's not a noble thing for me. It's more of a game thing for me. You have to have those. You have to choose. Like at the beginning of the game, you have to, just like you just said. At the end of the game, you got to know people. What I do at the beginning of the game, I see who I could trust the entire time. I try to learn who that person is. Try to learn their character. Who they are as a person. If I can trust them all the way to the end. If they're not going to stab me in the back. Why would I vote out someone?
Let me ask you a question, though. Can I ask you an honest question?
Yeah, go ahead.
How deep does that initial conversation go with you? Are you just trying to get a quick read and say, I can work with her, I can't work with her, I can work with him, I can't work with him?
I don't think it goes too deep.
I mean, not to say that a conversation should go that deep on day one, right? That's something that takes time. Like day 2, you learn a little bit more. Day 3, you learn a little bit more.
I think it's more about probably what it shouldn't be about. It's more about assumptions. It's more about
it is, and in your case, it's you have a huge disadvantage starting the game.
Oh, yeah,
right?
You mean
I mean,
played again. Yeah.
You're talking about assumptions on day 1. People want you gone immediately,
yeah,
right or wrong?
What if I'm there, you're there, Sandra's there, Boston Rob's there, Coach is there, Richard Hatch is there.
That'd be a great fucking season.
But just are you gonna really gun for me first? Like
Hell,
when
no, I
Boston
won't.
Rob
Why would I
would
gun
take
for
your
you?
ass to the bank, and then he will take you as an alliance and destroy you. You really?
I would say in that. I would say in
lose.
that scenario. I would say in that scenario, Sandra needs to go home first.
Yeah, and then you
Like, how
lose
many-
at the end of the game. You know, I'm the one that can play that game again and not win.
Yeah.
So
What are you saying?
I'm just saying, take me to the end.
I'm taking you to the end. Russell, if I'm in the same season with you ever, if the stars are aligned and magic ever happens,
that's because you're smart.
I'm going to the end with Russell Hands.
That's because you're smart.
I kick your ass in the end because, and the only reason why
you would be shocked
is because as much as you've sat here and as much as you've sat on this podcast and told me you've learned from your past, time, your past experiences, I believe.
Oh, once the game starts, it's almost like a.
I
bull
believe,
race,
yeah, I believe.
Once you get on that
the
bull,
the survivor blood starts running through your veins. It just comes back to you. I think, and you're sitting in final three. You have to just proclaim your greatness.
No, dude, that's a very strong possibility because I've been wanting to change, and then when I played Australian Survivor, as soon as I got out there, I was like, dude, I never played so hard in my life.
In other words, you probably played Australian Survivor harder than you did American Survivor.
No, I did
because you knew. Yeah,
but I was trying. But I was going home day one, so I was like, it was time for me to row.
You were going home day one. What day did you end up going home? What day? What day did you end up going home?
Day 5. But if I knew,
so that was your first. That was your first tribal council.
Yeah. If I knew, if I knew I was going home early in the legends of the game or whatever, yeah, of course I'm gonna fight to the end. I mean, you have to. You're not a legend if you don't.
Let me ask you a question though. You talk about the Samoa and heroes, villains, and redemption.
Yeah.
But and I know it's not that important to you, maybe because it's Australian Survivor. But does that not for me, if I'm okay, if I have the notoriety of Russell Hands and I'm going to play Australian Survivor and I found an immunity idol.
Right.
And I'm going to my first tribal council.
Right. No, I get it.
And I know you're telling me there was a lot. No, I know you're telling me there's a lot of behind the scenes. But just take that.
You saying I should play it.
No, that's what I'm saying. Why didn't you not why didn't you play it? I get why you didn't play it. I do. I see that what you're saying, that if I came back with it.
Right.
And it's not that you were.
If I would have came back with it, think about. I mean, I know 99% of the listeners don't watch that show. But if I would have went back with that idol, dude, I would have went to the final 5. Guaranteed.
That's a huge statement. But let's just get back to a more realistic statement. The more realistic statement is.
You know what I was gunning for? The one that won. You know the second one I was gunning for? The one that came second.
Yeah, and don't mention their names for anyone that hasn't watched.
I knew it.
You knew it. You smelled
I was
it.
trying to get rid of them from the get-go, and she got 4 votes with me.
Okay.
The one that won the game.
Right. Yeah. All right. Well, you just spoiled. But the point is this. What I'm saying, I'm not bashing you for not playing it, even though I did give you grief about it. But I am also bashing you for it. So here's why I'm not. I'm not bashing you for it because there were a lot of behind the scenes, which I know we didn't see. And you're not wrong about it because out of 12 votes, only 4 came against you, which means you were not hysterical, right?
No, I was.
But at the same,
I knew
but at the same time, you are Russell Hantz.
No, I get it, dude. But
and everybody there knows who you are.
Also, Russell Hantz has to make huge moves, man. I have to do it.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
It's. Do you think I would have made that?
And just so you know, it's very.
If I was in your position, I would have made the fire.
You want me to sit here and tell you would have?
No, I want you to tell me what you think as a fan.
All right, here's what I'll say about that. If you're in my position and would you make fire, I believe You have the audacity to make fire and gamble because you're a big move guy. But I think if you had in your mentality the same way I had in my mentality,
made the fire if
you
I
wouldn't
would have thought that I could beat him anyway.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Same
It's
thing
a
as me.
stupid move. If you think you can beat him,
it's the
a
same
stupid
thing.
move. You know, I had
The other thing you
somebody
have to
ask
take in
me.
consideration is that Wendell was a furniture maker. Not was, is a furniture maker. The guy works with his hands for a living, and he does intricate things with his fingers, and he's very good with his hands. So could you imagine how good he is with a flint and a knife in his hand, right? So that's something I'm taking into consideration also. What I'm saying is, do I believe you have the balls to take someone on fire? I do believe you have the balls. But I also believe that if your mentality was mine, which was I'm going to win the game and I don't need to do this, you're going to do the same thing as me, right?
Right. No, I would have done. You got to make. I am a Survivor player. When I play the game, I try to think strategically. The best strategic move, if I think that I'm going to beat Natalie White, I'm not going to even try to make fire with her.
Tell me realistically. How realistically you're going into Final Tribal with Natalie and what's the gentleman's name?
Mick.
Sorry, Mick, if you're listening.
He's not listening.
He's not. How confident did you feel out of 9 votes? No, out of 9 votes, how many were you getting?
I wasn't getting Laura's. I thought I might not get another person. I thought I was getting the rest. I thought I might not get 2.
Like, you thought you were getting 7.
Yes, I thought I had it.
I
talked to the producers.
Wait, and Mick didn't get any, right?
We were sitting in Samoa in the water. They were about to do an interview with me, and it was just 3 of us. It was the end of it. We was having a breakfast and all that. And they said, "You think you won?" And I'm like, "There's no way. How can I not? How can I not? I dominated everything. Nobody did anything."
So you're saying after the votes went in?
No. I'm talking before we went to the vote.
Before
I'm talking to one of the producers.
Okay, gotcha.
Just me and him talking. And I was like, he's like, "Man, I don't know, man. I've seen things happen in this game." And I'm like, "Dude, I dominated." Like, it shocked me when he said, "Maybe not. You might not, Russell." When he said you might not, I was floored. I was like, "What do you mean?
Did that wake you up?
I should have. I got 100% of the vote."
Yeah, but did that wake you up going into Final Tribal saying, "Holy shit"?
It worried me.
And then when you got there and you started hearing the jury,
I thought I still had a shot when I got.
And you got to remember, my Final Tribal as of season 34. The back and forth is different now. So it's not just they get to stand up and beat the shit out of you.
Right.
Now it's an open discussion. So I really got to defend myself a lot. Like, I don't know how much you got to defend yourself, or if you just took a beating. Man.
I did my best. I said I couldn't have did anything else differently to defend myself. All they wanted was I wish I could go back in time and apologize to them. And you know what would happen?
No, you didn't apologize in 19,
but you know what would happen?
Unless you did and didn't.
If I would have got on my knees and I would have sucked some of them's dick.
Yeah, I don't know that you would have.
No, I'm just saying if I would have, I still wouldn't have got the vote.
I'm not saying you would have won the game.
No, I had the game lost.
I believe honestly in my heart, like, and again, you admit to it. So I'm taking your fucking words.
You also have to realize that it was one of the most aggressive games ever played. Nobody ever looked for idols without clues. When all that happened, they shocked them.
Only know that. You say the most aggressive games played, and from your perspective, it was because from the
world's perspective. I mean,
no, you're talking about the viewer's perspective.
I think if
not the
somebody
people
would
you
have
played
a
the game.
Vote, I think if you would have a vote. If CBS had a vote saying who was the most aggressive player that ever played, they would say Russell Hantz.
There's no one arguing that. Nobody's arguing that.
Okay, what's the question? I mean,
the question is that if when you did what you did you like? How do I word it and phrase it? It's like, I just don't know that if you're saying that because you were aggressive in the game.
I didn't know I was aggressive in the game, by the way. I never seen the game.
But that's what
I
I'm
was just
saying.
playing.
Same thing with me. I didn't think I was aggressive either. I'm just one of the in my circle of life. I'm just nobody. I'm just a regular guy. But when you throw yourself, you know what I mean. So now you're in this situation where you're with a bunch of people who don't get you. The same thing with the most recent season that's on right now.
No,
David versus
you
Goliath.
see, you were in a different situation because
Which is what?
You keep saying, oh, you're younger people, you don't get, and how you deal with that. Like, I connected immediately with everybody, and I was 38 years old.
Are you sure? I was 38
I'm 100%
too when I
positive
played.
because nobody said my name once. Nobody wanted to get rid of Russell ever.
Well, I would say for season 19, actually 19 and 20, because 20 didn't know who you were either, right?
Right.
So I guess technically it's 2 fresh seasons for you.
Right.
So I can't say that, but I don't know. I have a problem.
I had the beautiful girl every time.
What does that mean? Though?
Well, you tell me, how am I able to get the young, beautiful girl to align with me? 3 seasons, not just the first 2. Stephanie Valencia and Krista Clem.
How does that make you?
Because it's my personality.
What does that have to do with anything?
No, it has a lot to do with everything.
I got Bradley Kleige, who's a UCLA law grad, to believe I was with him, and then I blindsided his ass.
No,
so how does getting a young beautiful girl?
It's a personality thing. Well, it's a personality thing where you want them to you try to manipulate them as easy as you can. Whoever.
Okay. So you're
saying
saying
the law grad,
you're saying is in all 3 of your seasons of American Survivor, you picked up the low-hanging fruit.
I mean,
that's not a good analogy. The low-hanging fruit.
Okay.
Like, why
put
it
this way.
Why didn't?
Okay, Natalie White. You have a beautiful young Southern girl that I know.
I had a beautiful young Southern girl on my season named Libby.
I know and been here all my life. So you asking me how I picked that fruit? Was it the low hanging fruit?
What I'm saying is in all 3 of your seasons, I'm
trying to do it to myself. Okay, why did I pick Natalie White? Nobody ever asked me this question. So nobody. This is the first time I ever discussed on how I actually picked her as a person to go to the end.
Okay.
You have the young Southern girl, which I'm used to.
Wait, pause. I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt. You're saying on day 1, you were looking to take her to the end on day 1?
Day 1.
Wow.
And Marissa was the young, pretty girl too, but I didn't take her.
Okay.
You know why?
Why?
Because she was the strong, young, pretty girl.
Mentally strong or physically strong?
No, mentally.
Mentally strong. Okay.
I felt it.
So you're saying Natalie was not mentally strong?
No.
She was easy.
Natalie's
easy to control.
I ain't talked to
easy
Natalie
to control.
in years. But let me tell you about Southern women. And I'm from the South. It's
right.
where I'm from. So whether you like it or not, this is how it is. Southern women
you're about to get your ass kicked. But go ahead, say it.
Whatever. Southern women are more submissive than others. They're more understanding and more to trust. They're more to trust you. Why do I want to play with a strong woman in the game of Survivor? I love strong women in the game of life. But I'm not playing the game of life. I'm playing Survivor. So I knew Natalie White was a submissive woman that I could get over on.
Right.
I knew she would be easier for me to control. No, I didn't believe it. I knew it, and I was right.
So you knew she was submissive,
just like
and
Miss
easy
Universe
to control.
just now. She would have ended up the same way as Natalie White. She probably would have beat me.
Who was that?
This Miss Universe in Australian Survivor. Same thing.
Okay.
Same thing with her.
So let me ask you a question. So Natalie White was submissive and easy to control.
Yes.
And again, it could have been editing.
No.
But
I'm telling you, that's how.
no. I'm
she
just
was
saying,
literally
listen to me.
washing my underwear.
All
that
I don't
happened.
care
I'm not
about
just
that.
saying that. She was doing that.
All I watched just recently today, before the podcast,
Right.
was her final tribal speech.
Oh no, her final.
Oh, so she woke up.
Listen, her final tribal speech was good. It was good.
So she's not.
No, it was good for
totally
that for
dumb.
her at that. No, I never said she was dumb. She's a very smart girl, but you're not us around this area. My mother is like this. My mother is the strongest woman I know, but also extremely submissive to my father. Now, when I say that, how does that make you feel?
Yeah, but how old is
How
she?
does that make you feel?
Well, why don't we talk about age instead of location?
She's 70.
Well, my mom's 62, and she's submissive to my dad, and I live in New York.
Okay, well, that's a good thing. I think it's a good thing. I mean, some people out there might think it's horrible. Might think it's just horrible. So what I'm going by is what I know when I play the game. When I played with Natalie White, and I knew she was from Arkansas, Miss Arkansas, I knew that.
Oh, was she Miss Arkansas?
I think she was in the system, but I don't know if she won. But anyway, so when I played with her, I just felt it, man. I felt it. I felt that she was like 50% of the women around here, which isn't a bad thing. Women around here, I love the women around here. But nowadays, you can't even say that. You can't say, oh, you want to be submissive to, man? What the hell is that? What? No,
definitely
you can't
don't want
even
to say that
open
on
a girl. You can't even open the door for a girl nowadays without saying, you don't think I could do that for myself? Like, really?
Yes, you can.
Well, see where
I
I'm
know
going.
I know some very strong, independent women that would love to have the door opened up for them. But I get what you're saying. I know what you mean.
One of the most.
It's not the same. It's not the same as the 70s.
You know Michaela from Brandon season.
Sure.
She's one of the strongest women I know.
Sure.
She's really strong. She's from the South. Sure. I dated her for a while. And
you dated her?
I might date her for a little more than a while. She might date her again. You never know. But what I'm saying is, just because I think someone's submissive or someone's strong doesn't mean that I don't respect them in life, in the real life. Natalie was an extremely smart girl. Extremely smart. She's way smarter than me. But when it come to being rained on 24/7, being soaking wet, I knew I could break her down. Now, I don't care if you're from Louisiana or from New York City. When you're soaking wet, I'll break your ass down, I promise you. Because you will be suffering. I am too. I'm suffering too, but I am trying to soak it in a little bit more. I don't know. Does it make sense?
Let it absorb?
Well, I like the weather. I like when it rains because other people start suffering, and when they suffer, it's easy. People do it in the military all the time. You can get something out of somebody without touching them. You can make if someone's suffering, they'll give you a little bit of information. And you don't have to touch them to get that information. So I kind of use that. My grandfather, he was a prisoner of war in a war called the Bataan Death March. They made a movie about it recently with the guy on the boat, on the water. He was in the boat, and then they picked him up. Japanese soldiers picked him up, and I forgot the name of it. Unforgiven, or I don't know. Anyway, people out there screaming out the name, but he was a prisoner of war called the Bataan Death March. He told me, he told me, and you heard it on TV, that if you can control the way they feel, you can control the way they think. And he was a prisoner. He was a prisoner of war for 3.5 years by the Japanese soldiers.
I believe that because I'm a huge fan of a show on the History Channel called I wish. See, now you got me all screwed up. It's been a minute since I've watched it, so I'll look it up, and I forget the name of it. But it's basically they take like 35 civilians, and they put them in, like a Navy SEAL type training camp. Right. And we're not talking about anyone that has any real serious training. And in real life, when you train to be a Navy SEAL, I think there's like an 88% failure rate, right? So only 12% of the people that train for the SEALs end up graduating, whatever. And the same thing applied for the 35 students that they had off the street. And we're talking about people that just did not belong there, right?
Right.
So day 1, they do some basic training. Day 2, this, that. And then like by day 8 or 9, they have them locked in like a 6x5 box, screwed, and they're blasting like heavy metal, and like they're sleep deprived for 9. But the point is, like, exactly what you're saying. Like if certain people are suffering from sleep deprivation, cold, wetness, there are certain people that will thrive in those situations and can take advantage of them. And there's other people that will just fall apart. And that's your moment where you really get to kind of say, this is my time. Again, it's not to say that I'm going to take advantage of someone, but it's my time to play the game. Right. You know what I mean?
Right. So, man, we've been talking for over 2 hours. I've never did a podcast over an hour. Never.
Yeah, that's because you got some fucking gold.
You know what I've learned about if I do a podcast with a regular person or somebody that wasn't on the show or wrote a book or something like that, like I have to be in full control of the podcast. I have to make sure everything goes right. When you do a podcast with a Survivor player, anyone, doesn't matter who, everybody's on point because they are chosen by over thousands of people. So
yeah, but let's not compare this podcast to you podcasting with any Survivor.
No, what I'm saying is
this is a pretty fruitful podcast.
I got 2 hours in, man. Usually I'm shutting it down in an hour. So
this shit fucking flew too.
I got some questions for my patrons on my. Most of them are just saying that you got robbed.
Like I told you, I hear that often, man. But again, it doesn't. I don't feel like I've been robbed. I feel like I should have won, but I understand why Wendell won. You know what I mean? It's not.
I wish that I could say that. I really do. But
I get that it's different. I get that it's different for you than it is for me.
I mean, I wish I could say, man, yeah, she deserved it. If I could say she deserved it, yeah, I could sit here and lie and say it.
But let me just say something.
Should I lie? Should I just lie about it and say she deserved? Oh, she deserved it.
No, don't say she deserved it. It's not in your heart to ever say that. So don't try to bullshit yourself and say she deserved it. What you need to tell yourself is, I didn't recognize how many components of this game I needed to be playing.
I do say that now.
You say it now. So if you say it now, just let her have the victory.
Even with that, I look back and still think that she
still bites you.
Yeah, I still can't give it to her.
Because you believe that human nature and human behavior should work in sync with your mentality.
No, I mean I know that's not the case, obviously.
But that's not the case, and that's why it ended the way it did.
I thought it was so overwhelmingly.
What you're confusing is
that they had to do it. And that was part of my speech. Like, you have to do it. And I still.
Well, let me tell you one.
Knowing what I know now, I still don't understand. Well, I understand it. It's called bitter people. Bitter human beings. I understand it now as that. The only reason I didn't win because of the people I played with, and they were just. I want you to
take this from this guy. If we just talk for 2 hours, I want you to take one thing from me, who's played a very recent season. All right, my season was last season. I want you to change your mentality from saying this group of people are bitter, and I want you to switch it to there are components in life that I'm not familiar with. There's things in people's brains that I'm just not that good enough to grasp.
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, that's
it.
You know,
Russell, that's it. There's nothing else to it. If you're put on a game, you cannot determine who you play this game
right.
with.
I just got unlucky with the people. Like a lot of
Didn't
people said,
get unlucky.
A lot of people said that
you didn't get unlucky, and I didn't get unlucky. Neither of us got unlucky. What we did is both you and myself failed to recognize what makes people tick.
Oh,
That's it.
So do you think you lost because you didn't understand the people?
I lost because there are some people in the jury that I could not get through to. And that was my fault that I didn't figure out how to get through to them.
Did you know that?
I did know it. I did know it. I knew
then how did you think you was
I
gonna
knew
win?
whose vote I wasn't getting going into Final Tribal.
Then how did you think that you weren't going to win? Or how did you think that window?
Because the amount of people I believe I didn't connect with, even no matter how hard I tried, and I was not at all aggressive when trying to explain. And I'm not even talking about at Final Tribal. I'm talking about days before this person was voted out or that person was voted out. I knew those people were going home because I knew I had control of the game. You know what I mean? Like you didn't know you were going to Final 3. I knew I was going to Final 3.
I'm the kind of guy, like seriously, I'm not just saying this. If I thought somebody was just head over heels better than me, if Ozzy won 8 in a row, he got there, and I didn't find. Let me finish. If Ozzy just kicked ass, socially, strategically, everything, and then I beat him, I'm the kind of guy that said he deserved to win. I would fucking say that publicly that's who I am. Now,
I do not deny for 1 minute that if you think somebody played a better game than you,
and I snuck it,
and you still won, that you would say it. I believe that about you. I know, and I believe the people listening to this, all 4 of them, that they believe that they believe that you have enough integrity to say, when I lost, right?
Right.
I know that about you, Russell, because that's not a characteristic that is that far-fetched in people.
Right.
That goes on in many people where they say, look, I just want when I deserve something to be rewarded for it. And if I didn't get it and I didn't win it and I'm not rewarded for it, that's fine because I didn't earn it.
Right.
In other words, you're the type of person that says to himself and to the world, if I didn't earn it, don't give it to me.
No, hell yeah.
But if I earned it, come on.
Yes.
Open your eyes.
No,
don't you see I earned it?
Right there. And
I know that's your
what's
point.
easy? You know what's easy? If I did a podcast, and I probably will, I'll probably do a podcast with Wendell next. If I do a podcast with Wendell and I ask him, Wendell, does he deserve to win?
He will not ever tell you.
No, would he deserve the title? Did he have the capabilities of beating you? Did he have what it takes to win the game? He would say
I'll
yes.
tell you his response. Can I tell you his response right now?
Tell me.
His response will be this. Dom, my brother, played a very strong game, and in any other season he would have won, and in this season he didn't.
Okay.
That's his response.
You know what? He's not. Don't tag him. Nobody tag him. That's probably gonna be.
I'm telling you, that's his response.
I need to do a podcast with him. If he does if he doesn't
give you that response, I'll
give you 10 grand. If he says that response, then I'll tag. What we'll do is we'll record your response, put it right next to his, and then you're the better player.
His response.
You would be the better player.
Listen to me.
Because you see what I'm saying.
Listen to me. If he won the game, he is the better player. That's hard for you to
You see,
grasp
the New York
because you can't swallow the fact that Natalie White is the better player.
Yeah, no. You know what? And that's exactly. Somebody said I tried to look for it. I seen it a couple of years ago. It was amazing. This guy was saying his rebuttal to Natalie winning, and he said exactly that. He said, Laura, all you guys, by saying that Natalie White won that game, is saying that she's better than you. So Natalie White Laura, are you telling me that Natalie White is better than you? Are you okay with Natalie White being better than you, or Russell Hantz being better than you?
Yeah, right, and that makes sense. But Russell, let's
right,
take
man.
two things.
It's the whole social thing.
Okay,
it's the whole mind.
So listen,
thing.
Somebody
can win that game that doesn't know nothing about it.
Do you respect
That's what
my game?
sucks.
Do you respect my?
No, I do.
Do you respect my game?
I think you had the best game by far.
Okay, so let me say something. If you respect my game, you'll respect my opinion. I said it earlier. There's a difference between me and Wendell. Me and Wendell both played very good games, and the fact that he won, I get it. You don't get how Natalie White won.
No,
but the only thing I'll say about that is she did a lot. In other words, if you compare you and me to Wendell and Natalie White, it's not comparable.
No,
Wendell did much more than Natalie White did, correct?
Right.
Okay. So you can't compare us. You can't compare us. You can't compare us. What I can say about me and Wendell is we both played very good games. I believe in my heart I played more aggressively than he did, but that doesn't necessarily make me the winner. Okay? What you're saying is...
Do you think that he would say that you played a more aggressive game than him?
He'll say I played a louder game. He'll say he did a lot of moves himself, which he did, and I'm sitting here telling you he did.
Right.
Okay? And there's some moves that he did that were not even shown in the show that I give him credit for. Okay, so I'll never bash Wendell's game. I'm not going to sit here and tell you.
You shouldn't. You shouldn't if he played a good enough game to win.
Absolutely he did.
Yes.
What I'm saying about you and Natalie is I get the difference. There's a difference between my game and your game with Natalie White. And what I need you to recognize is you to stop saying you played the better game. Because it's not that she played a better game than you. It's that you had a great game and you handed it to her. That's the difference.
But I'm trying to
understand
where and when
you gave
happened.
It to her.
Because you can't tell me it was at the speech. Because they've told me that they already made their decision. So it had to be before that.
Shit. You know what, Russell? If they made their decision... If they made their decision at Ponderosa before Final Tribal, then it's something you did to cause them to do that.
Okay, so that's where I'm trying to find out.
That's where your flaw is.
I'm trying to find out where.
But let me just tell you something.
I went wrong.
Again,
I went to the merge 8-4. I fought to keep my tribe in the game the whole time against a team that was coming after me. When I got rid of Kelly, with me finding the first idol without a clue, the very first idol without a clue in history, I get rid of Kelly, and then when they were trying to get rid of me, Laura says he just stirred up a whole lot of hell is what he did.
That's because you are so...
Because I tried to save myself?
No, because you keep sitting here and trying to bullshit me.
No, I'm trying to get you to explain to me because I'm trying to save myself with somebody all shooting at me.
Russell, you can sit here and proclaim.
You need to watch that season over again, brother.
What?
Seriously. You need to watch the whole season over again.
I will.
And you need to see, I'm telling you, I've never was vocally aggressive to no one the whole time. No.
It's not that you're vocally aggressive, nor was I.
Okay.
Russell, here's what you don't get.
That's why you got 5 votes. I would have liked 5 votes.
No, Russell, listen to me. But the votes I didn't get, I was told that I was super aggressive, that I was mean. I was a terrible person. If you don't know that, then you need to watch my final tribal.
You need to be a better person to win the game.
Kellen, Sebastian, Donathan, those 3 people told me what a piece of shit I was at Final Tribal. Not to say that those are their opinions today. And
what about when 3 of the people that voted for me told me that they made the wrong decision?
Russell, if
I'm asking
Russell,
you.
When did they tell you that?
At a party about a year later.
At the finale?
Yeah, but I think it was at the finale, yeah.
Okay, so 3 people, which means you would have won?
They would have gave me 5 votes. I think I would have won, yes.
Okay, so guess what? I was tied 5 to 5.
No, I'm asking you, why do they change
Listen
their
to me.
mind?
Because when they see it on TV, they see things that we're not involved in.
Dude, TV is production.
Russell, listen to me.
You're getting drunk.
Listen to me.
TV is production.
Listen to me. I tied 5 to 5 with Wendell.
Right.
All I needed was 1 more vote than him to win. At my finale, I'm not mentioning names. 3 people told me I think I made a mistake.
Okay, well then there you go.
But so what? What does that have to do with the present moment in the game?
No, it's the human element of, and it could be.
It's the moment outside of the game.
Monica told me, and I'll say her fucking name. I'm not a pussy. Monica told me straight up that she made her decision due to the conversations at Ponderosa.
Well, that's different. I never heard that. So that's why I can't relate to that.
So when I said the whole thing is flawed because of that, I meant Ponderosa. I didn't mean anything else but that.
Right. And that's your experience, and I'm not going to argue. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that's bullshit.
So
if that's what you went through. But Russell, listen, like I said, and we both discussed it. We both know that Ponderosa is an element of the game. So if we know that Ponderosa is an element of the game,
I know that
right?
now.
We're talking about moving forward. We need to expect that at Ponderosa conversations may or may not take place. Again, I don't know that they do. We're assuming they do. You're saying you heard verbiage that there is.
I don't think that if they had a Legend season, you were there, I was there. I don't think Ponderosa. I'll go ahead and say that on the record now that I don't think Ponderosa would have a damn thing to do with it.
It won't. It's not. It's up to you.
But when you play it first, that
all right, maybe
different.
first. Maybe if it's your first season, it may or may not. I don't know. Again, I do not believe Ponderosa had an effect on my season.
Yeah.
I believe that Wendell and I both gave very compelling arguments. And I think the thing that burnt me more than anything. So you're sitting here arguing about Ponderosa.
Right.
My argument about why I think, not that I'm not going to say it's why I lost, but I would say to any future player is that the last person that influences the jury can be the deal breaker. And why I say that is
you
that...
say that, but then you thought that my guy was last when he was first.
Well, exactly. That's why I followed it up. But I'm not even talking about your season anymore.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to...
Man, that just sucked. You're right. And the last person does influence the jury. You're right. But that fucking sucks. It sucks that people are so fucking weak.
But Russell, hold on a second. Let me elaborate on that. Let's take what I thought Eric Cardona was the last word at your tribal. So I was going to connect that with my tribal and tell you how they're compared. But now you're telling me Eric was actually the first person. Right. So we'll leave that out of it. Let's talk about my season.
Okay.
So we've had a lot of back and forth. The new tribal council format allows you to go back and forth, and you can say what you want when you want. And then after we've done all that, Jeff says, okay, Laurel, final arguments. Laurel says what she wants. Then I say what I want. And I felt really good about what I said. You know what I mean? I was like, guys, listen, I know I burn a lot of you guys out there. I realize I hurt some people out there. I just want you to know it wasn't intentional. Again, I never apologized.
Okay.
But I kept saying, like, I realized what I did was, didn't look good, but I just want you to know it wasn't what it appeared. I really was just trying to do this, that, blah, 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 blah. And then Jeff says, all right, Wendell, your final thoughts. And Wendell took, like, 15 to 20 minutes individually having a conversation with each person on the jury.
Damn. That's.
And I'm like, oh my God. And I felt like, wait, like, I'm toast. Like, he just sealed
so you knew right there.
No. What I was questioning myself, and there's no way I would have been stopped. My fault was after Wendell did his speech with each individual person, I should have followed up and said, Jeff, you know what? I'm not done with my closing arguments. I want to say one more thing to Chelsea, or I want to say one more thing to this person.
Right.
They weren't telling me I couldn't. That was my fault.
Yes.
I should have jumped on top of Wendell and made sure I had the last word.
Yes.
Because the last word, if it's down to 5-5 like it was for me and Wendell, that last word matters.
Yes.
So when you're arguing what they're bullshitting about at Ponderosa, I disagree with that.
Did you?
But what I'm saying is, did I know that I lost?
Do you think that I'm gonna go there? Do you think?
You think this is the first time we've gone there? The same way you think?
I don't know. This may be the first time. I think this is the first time this statement's ever been said.
It hasn't.
What I'm about to say.
It hasn't been.
Do you think that the reason she voted for Wendell because he was black?
Okay, let's start.
Now,
let's start with the first part of the question.
Is that conversation ever been said?
Nobody's brought. You're right. Nobody's brought that to my attention. But let's talk about part one of the conversation. Part one of the conversation is, did I know I lost immediately?
Right.
And I claim that I did know immediately, but I think it took me about 30 seconds to know that I lost. And the reason why I knew I lost after 30 seconds was when I knew I had a fantastic relationship with Laurel. I mean, we talked about some deep shit that Wendell was not a part of. You know,
what did you think that maybe should vote for you?
Hold on. It was a lot about relationship stuff. I knew I was not. In other words, if I was to say, how does my relationship with Laurel compare to Laurel's relationship with Wendell because he's black, it never crossed my mind.
Right. But
in the moment,
that's
in
why
the moment.
She voted for
in
him.
other words, when I thought I lost,
I'm not saying that nobody. I'm not even talking prejudice here.
I'm
just saying I understand the black community. One of my best, James, is one of my best friends. He's like my best friend. Now, listen, let me finish. So I'm not talking about. I'm talking about. I know the loyalty in the black community. So do you think that he got it only because of that?
Let me finish my statement, and then I'll answer that. So, going into it, I did not believe color was an issue.
Right.
I believed honestly that it was my relationship with Laurel versus Wendell's relationship with Laurel. Now, I did not know about Wendell's relationship with Laurel. I did not know that he built her a fire-making kit out in the woods. I did not know that they talked about his sister and how she reminds him of her, and I did not know that. All I knew was that the conversations I had with Laurel myself, which were very personal.
Right.
And I feel terrible because I haven't talked to Laurel in a while, and her and I had a very good we had very good communication for a very long time, even after the finale. And I think it was like the last few months where we just haven't connected, and it's probably my fault. But anyway, let's take that aside for a second, and let's talk about the race thing if you want.
Right. No, I just want to know what your
it's fine.
opinion is.
I have no problem addressing it.
Right.
So what happened was after the votes went in and I knew Laurel had to vote, for about 20 to 30 seconds, I believed I had a shot. And when I say I thought I had a shot, I was comparing my relationship with Laurel to what I believed her relationship with Wendell was.
Right.
Why I say that was because Laurel would come to me often and be like, Wendell's being shady. Wendell's not giving me a straight answer.
Right.
Wendell's acting weird. So in my mind, I'm saying for sure. Like I definitely, like Laurel might give me her vote. You know what I mean? And then I look over at Wendell, and he's got a huge smile on his face. And that's when I realized in that moment that I lost.
Wow.
And it's not that I thought that I lost because they're both black. It's that I realized that this whole time I did not know about their relationship. That they had this amazing relationship that I was not aware of. And I was made aware of it after the finale. You know what I mean?
Well, Well, that makes
Now,
sense.
from a race standpoint, and if you think I have not been asked or people have told me 1,000 times you had no shot at winning because Laurel had to vote for him because they're fine. You know what? I don't know how true
Do you
that
take
statement
any
is.
credence in that?
Well, let me say this. Let me because if you think I haven't had this on my mind in the last year and a half,
No, I believe it.
you're
That's
crazy.
why I said it. Nobody likes to say that kind of thing.
Yeah, no one wants to talk
Right.
about it. And I have no
And I'm
problem
okay,
talking
this
about
is
it.
the
And
Russell Hantz show.
yeah, and I have no issue talking about race because I'm not racist in any way, so I have no issue with it. Here's what I have to say about it. I don't believe that she voted for him because of race. I believe the relationship between Wendell and Laurel was stronger than mine. But if she voted for him because of race,
That would suck.
I don't necessarily know that I have a problem with that.
No, it would sucks for you, but you know what?
It would suck for
I
me.
don't either.
It would
Because
suck for me, but
I don't have a problem with it only because, hey, it is what it is. What can you do?
yeah, you know, I've never lived the life of a black person. You know what I mean? Wendell has told me stories that he's been pulled over for no reason.
Right,
You know, like I've never lived that life.
right.
And again, this is a deep topic. It's a sensitive
This
topic.
is another podcast for sure.
It's a whole nother podcast.
Right.
Yeah, we could talk another 3 hours about it. So I'm not going to get into the details and the whole thing about it. But if she did vote for him because she thought it was important
You
to vote for
understand
him
it.
in the black community, I get it. And I don't have – it doesn't make me any more sore or less sore about it. You know what I mean? That if that's the reason, then that's the reason.
Yeah, no, I get that.
And guess what? If that's going to be the reason, as a Survivor player, my job is to know that the possibility between me and Wendell may tie. She may vote for him because of race, and that's my job to make sure Laurel's not there with him. Whatever it is, again,
Right.
it doesn't harm me if that is the case. I don't believe that was. I believe their relationship was stronger than my relationship with Laurel. But in the event that that was the situation, God bless them.
Well, the fact of the matter is, and they're going to have half the people disagree, agree. But the fact of the matter is the game is hard.
It's hard.
It's hard. And there's so many, when you're a player, there's so many variables that's going through your mind the entire time. It's just, it's a tough game, man. It's tough. And that's why I love it so much, because it's so hard.
That's what you have to appreciate.
Like making money, it's easy for me.
Right.
I got my family. I think I'm a good dad. All that stuff I try to do right in life, but that I can't fucking win it.
I
It's
hear you.
hard.
And let me tell you something. And what's beautiful about what you just said is that you're right. And I love that we disagreed about a lot of shit tonight, because that shows that this podcast is authentic. I'm not sitting here to yes you to death. You're not sitting here to yes me to death. We had our disagreements, but the one thing we will agree on is that, right, making money is not to say it's easy, because there's a lot of people that can't make money.
of course.
You know what I mean? So we're not going to sit there and say it's easy, but I do okay. I support my family fine. I lost $1 million. No one in my family is starving, right?
Right.
No one in your family is starving. We're fine. We're fine. But you're right. There's this thing about the game, and maybe it's because it's internationally televised that might, up the status. But for
Dude,
fuck's
I would
sake,
do
man,
it.
we want to know. No. But
free
I know
and
it's not
without
about
on
that,
TV.
Russell. What we want to know, and again, this applies to people all around the world that even don't get the opportunity to play this game. We, as individuals, want to know if we are as good as we think we are.
Right.
That's it.
No,
We want to know. We believe. We walk through life every day and say, I'm smarter than that guy, I'm smarter than that guy, and I'm smarter than that guy. Wait,
you know what? I think
am I
that
really
is,
that
man,
smart?
that is what you're sitting there saying, yes, I got to beat this person, because it's weird to say it like this, but to say, I'm just better. I got to beat this person because I'm better at this.
And what you really need to do is you need to beat yourself. You need to prove to yourself that you're better than you think you are.
Yeah.
You need to know that you're no. It's not that you're better than you think you are. You need to be at least as good as you think.
I should have talked to you before Australian Survivor, because what I should have done was found that damn idol, shut my mouth, not did a damn thing, let everybody vote me out, because that's what they were going to do anyway, and then play it, and then maybe find it again and try to do it all over again.
And you would have. That's what's amazing to me. You know you're going to find it again. That's your gift.
But, dude,
right?
if I played if I played Legends, I can't go looking for it. You kidding me? I can't go looking for an idol.
I feel the same way. I would never look for an idol.
No, there's no, you Legends that may play, there's no damn way I'm leaving the camp. I don't care. I'm not looking for wood. I'll sit there trying to start it. You bring the wood to me.
I'm the same.
Right?
I agree. If I ever played again, I would never leave camp. No. I would not search. No. I would tie a string to my wrist to somebody else's wrist at night.
Tie a string to your wrist and to the tent and say, I'm not leaving, right? I'm not leaving this area.
And again, it's your fault that I can't do that. It's your fault. I blame you.
I'm sorry.
Because I've been called by James in the game Russell Hantz 2.0. I was called Russell Hantz 2.0.
You're one of the only, even more than Tony. I agree with you being more like me than Tony. Tony wasn't like me. You were more like, your personality was more like me than Tony. You was more unlikable.
Right.
Right.
Tony was pretty unlikable too, though.
Yeah. All right, man.
But I know what you're saying. I think we all fit that category. And I think that's why they...
For 2.5 hours. I'm going to have to cut this into 2 podcasts. Section 1 and 2. Well,
do what you want.
Too. That'll work. But anyway, man, that was a good conversation. I appreciate you being on the show. And believe it or not, I took some of that in. If I ever play again, you might have helped me. Just saying.
Well, we'll see how it goes. But listen, I was worried coming into this conversation that I was walking into the devil's den. But I'm glad to see that. I was surprised, and I'm happy to see that there's been a lot of transition in your mind and this and that, and whatever it is. Again, you don't have to do shit for me.
No, man. You see, that's what's messed up. I'm a different person than what you see on the show.
Everybody is,
I do
man.
get aggressive.
Everybody is.
I do have aggressive nature with certain things if something happens to me negative. Sure. But I'm able to control myself. I'm not an immature child. So people, when they see me, and when Jeff says, "I think you're really a bad person on the Regis and Kelly or whoever that was," and stuff like that, I don't get that. I'm like, I'm not that guy.
Yeah, but so what? Anything about you is good. So
I guess you're right.
You know what I mean? As long as they're not, calling you a sexual predator or a racist. Those are the two. Right. Those are the two things you'll never escape. So as long as you're not one of those two things.
Well, you can't be the guy that sent the bombs. Tell them people you can't be that.
That too. You can't be that.
You can't be that guy either.
That's a whole other podcast.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate you.
Russell, it's great talking to you.
I'm gonna have you back on the podcast. We're gonna talk about something other than Survivor next time. Because it seems like you knowledgeable, and we'll get it going, man.
All right, my man.
Appreciate it, man.
Talk to you later.
Hey, you have a good one.
Become a patron and get more content and bonus episodes, including video commentary of every episode of Survivor Samoa, weekly episodes of Whining with Wine, and you can become a patron for as low as $5. $5 gets you Russell's Alliance, 10 and you become a game changer, 25 and you're a legend. Go to patreon.com/Russell Hantz.